I woke up to my phone vibrating like it knew something I didn't. Like it had gossip, like it had teeth, like it was grinning. Candlesticks climbing like they're late for a meeting with God. Every red day I survive now feels fake in hindsight. I used to flinch at the tickers like they were jump scares. Now they're confetti cannons duct taped to my self-esteem. I've been wrong with confidence right by accident. Pay rent with adrenaline and stubbornness. They said be careful, I said define careful. I said define gravity while you're at it. Every headline reads like a dare. Every doubt I had just quietly packed his bags. Yeah, finally shut up. Yeah, finally shut up. I remember counting losses like rosary beads, praying to charts like they could hear me breathe. Now the screen looks back like you good, and for once I actually am. It just keeps going up. It just keeps going up. Say what you want, say I'm out of my mind. It just keeps going up. It just keeps going up. It just keeps going up. I try to doubt it, I really did, but it just keeps going on. I've been stapling, hope to logic, calling it strategy. Learning patience from the least patient thing on earth. Every pullback felt personal, like a betrayal arc. Now my portfolio's doing victory laps around my anxiety. I used to refresh like I was checking a pulse. Now I refresh like I'm watching fireworks reload. Everybody's got a theory, everybody's got a crash date. Funny how they only show up when it's green. I don't feel lucky, I feel vindicated. Like every night I stayed up arguing with myself. Mattered, this isn't euphoria, it's relief with better posture. This is me standing up straight for once. Look at it move. It just keeps going up. It just keeps going up. Say what you want, say I'm out of my mind. It just keeps going up. It just keeps going up. It just keeps going up. I try to doubt it, I really did, but it just keeps going on. Maybe it crashes tomorrow, maybe it doesn't. Maybe I stop pretending I can outsmart momentum. I'm done arguing with numbers that don't feel fear. I'm done mistaking caution for intelligence. Let it run, let it be loud, let it make liars out of all of us. Let it run, yeah, let it run. It just keeps going up. It just keeps going up. Say what you want, say I'm out of my mind. It just keeps going up. It just keeps going up. It just keeps going up. I try to doubt it, I really did, but it just keeps going on.
Oh, brother, oh, brother, oh, brother. Good morning, and welcome back to another episode of the Kohrs Show, where, yes, we are getting that much closer to finally getting the new stream set up exactly where I want it to be. I'm so happy you are here. Happy Monday, happy Monday, happy Monday. I don't know if you live in the Northeast corridor the way I do, but we just got pummeled with snow. So whatever you happen to be up to this weekend, I hope you don't have to drive or do anything like that. And if you are, I hope you are being very careful with it. I mean, I went to bed last night thinking, oh, wow, the fancy schmancy weather predictors on the news got it wrong again, because all of the alerts are like, oh my God, it's going to be the snow cyclone. You better buy milk for the next 3 months because you're not getting outside. And it was supposed to start at 1 p.m. Eastern, at least in the area that I am. And all of a sudden I was like, they got it wrong. I looked out at 1, nothing. There was like barely a flurry. At 2 hit, I was like, man, should I stay in? I really want some sushi. 4 p.m. hit, still not snowing. And I thought, oh, they're just completely wrong. Your boy left. He went, got some sushi, came back, and everything's fine. Was the snow picking up a little bit? Yeah. By the time I went to bed, it had snowed maybe 2 inches, 3 inches. I was like, yeah, 100% wrong. They missed it. La, la, la. Like, that's just how it goes. And then I got up this morning and I was like, oh. They actually were 100% spot on, maybe a little bit off on time, but golly. And I think I was just looking out before this started, man, it's still coming down. Still, like, it looks like a weird tundra, I don't know, icy snow rain mixture out there. So like I said, I hope it's not impacting you much, and if it is, I hope you're already at home with your soup, your milk, and everything you need, and you're ready for a fun day on the internet. But I appreciate you guys being here. Is it still snowing? For me it is. I don't know where it is for you guys, but for me it is 100% still snowing. So I hope you are doing well. Probably a lot of you guys have snow days, and maybe you do, maybe you don't, but I know I definitely do. But hey, that's not going to stop us for our jobs today. So as you can tell, I did a little bit more with the lighting. I'm getting right into that mood that I've been going for, like this kind of cool, vibey, retro trading thing. There's a couple more things I have to do. As you guys are going to see it, you're not going to see it exactly, but you're going to see it a little bit. I have some new monitors today, so it might change a little bit in terms of the sizing and that stuff. So please, if you have any like feedback of Matt, like the font's too big, Matt, the font's too small, Matt, I just hate you as a person. If you have any feedback like that, please let me know. We are still kind of in the middle of like switching up a little things here and there. So I'm hoping we're going to be good. But overall, I'm feeling pretty excited. You guys can't see it. Maybe I'll post something to the Instagram. Or where is my phone, by the way? I don't know where I put my phone. Maybe I'll post something to Instagram or something a little bit later. But I was joking with one of my buddies, and actually he might be watching today because I think he has a snow day. But anyway, one of my buddies and I were kind of joking over the weekend because finally, first time in my career, February 23rd, 2026, your boy started actively trading in 2017, and I think I placed my first trade in like 2010. I've been making content hardcore since 2020. We've been in this for a while. This is the first time ever that I have a dual monitor mount. I've never done this before. I finally made it in the world of trading, and I realized that being a trader has nothing to do with the size of your account, your profitability, your ROI, your Sharpe, your profit factor. That's not what trading is based on. The delineation between being a real trader and being a fake trader is, do you have more than one monitor, and is that mounted? So finally, I've achieved it. I've now officially hit the highest level ever. I am now a trader because I'm rocking the dual mount. So if you guys see me, which you might not, before I've always had to swivel to catch what's going on. I'm like, all right, here's chat, where's the chart? And I'm always going back and forth. Now it's going to be so subtle in today's show. You're barely going to see my eyes going up or down like 5 degrees, and I'm going to be able to take in all that information like it's nothing, because your boy is finally there. We're rocking the mounted dual monitors, and this is what trading is all about. This is what trading is all about, folks. I'm so freaking stoked today. I'm just imagining when I go to bed tonight and my eyes aren't going to be strained at all because they just really didn't have to do anything today. We're at a new level here. We're absolutely at a new level here. So very, very excited about that. Like I said, because it's new monitors, if some of the sizing is off, please just let me know, yell at me, and I'll do everything I can to quickly fix it. But there's 2 final things I want to do with this studio. 2 final things. Number 1, I hate this white wall. I want something with texture. I want something with pizzazz. I want something with a personality. So I'm in the market for a cool textural thing to basically make it look like don't have a white wall. I'm thinking maybe like wooden paneling, maybe even like a tile brick thing. But anyway, hate the white wall. And then on top of whatever the like fake wall is going to be, obviously we have to get a sign. So I don't know if it's going to say the MK Show, NASDAQ Cowboy, DGen Trading, I don't know, maybe Giant MK, like something like that. So I want something. I hate the white wall. We got to get rid of the white wall. We got to change that up, and we're going to change that up. But I'm talking to ChatGPT a lot about what to do, what not to do. So we're going to figure that one out. And then, of course, on top of that, we're going to throw in an order for a neon panel. Because how can you be a streamer, especially with this type of a vibey setup, and not have a neon sign? So those are the things that we need to figure out. And then from there, I don't know. Like at that point, there's nothing else to do in my life. We've kind of just achieved everything. So I don't know how life is going to look after that, but we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. So anyway, welcome back to another episode of the Matt Kohrs Show. I hope you had a great weekend. If you're getting snowed in like I am, well, make sure to stretch before you do all your shoveling today. We don't want you guys pulling your lower lumbar. I need you guys to be fit as a fiddle when we're here trading. If you haven't already, don't forget to like, subscribe, all that good jazz. It really, really does help me out. Make sure to mainly follow me on Mindspace. That's like kind of my main platform these days. If you guys are nice, I will be willing to put you into my top 8. And with that being said, let's see if I kind of remember these buttons, whatnot. Let's try this one out. Did this work? Ooh, holy cow, it did. Well, you have 1 day left to take advantage of the Apex 90% off. Remember, code Goonie. Before you guys ask, I know I'm going to get this question a lot. I have not yet heard back from Apex. I'm still waiting. As you can imagine, with all that drama related to influencers and affiliates, gaming the system, burning and churning accounts, and some accounts going long, other accounts going short in correlated assets. And then when some blow out, they hide that. And the other accounts were like, how could you not pay me out? I'm an influencer. I'm an affiliate. Kind of a weird dynamic that was being created. So obviously that just got blown to smithereens last week. And now because of that, it involves so much drama. Wait, hang on. What's this issue? Your YouTube not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. As such, viewers will begin to experience. How is that possible? Dude, I'm clocking at 2 gigs upload right now. Bad lag. Is it because of the weather? Hang on, let me check my speed. It might be weather related because like when I was doing this last week, we were ripping it. Hang on, I'm doing a quick speed test just to see how things are going. My download's cooking, but that's not going to really be impacting you guys quite yet. But my download's still rocking. I mean, I'm hardlined in. My download's at 2K right now. Actually, we're at 2.1 this morning. 2.2? Yeah, we clocked in at almost 2.3. My upload is also 2.3, so it's not on my side. Is where are we dropping frames? Are we dropping frames is the real question. It might be a YouTube. No, it did say we dropped frames here. Why though? Why in the world? I wonder if it's just like an unfortunate hiccup because it's not the internet speed. Is it? Oh, what would the problem be? Because we should be. It did drop frames. I wonder if it's just like an arbitrary hiccup. Is it better now? Like if you guys, could you do me a favor? Do a quick refresh because it's not my upload download. Well, mainly is my upload. My CPU is fine. We're below 2% on that. My bit rate, what the fuck would it be? I'm seeing some examples though. Like I'm playing back the video to myself to see what's going on. Let me just check one quick thing over here. Video output stream. You can't change it. All right, that's interesting. I am downsizing it to 2560 because with these new 4K monitors, the base resolution is 4K, obviously 4K monitors. But I wanted to downsize to 1440, and for some reason that might be causing the issue. But I think most people are saying that it's clear now, had a problem buffering, now it's good. I wonder if it was just on YouTube side. What about you guys? On Rumble chat, did you see something similar? Because I think it is. I think it's how I was outputting it to the world. I don't think it was necessarily YouTube or Rumble. It looked like it might have been more of a restream issue. Anyway, if it starts up again, let me know because I might be able to capture what the problem is in real time. But I wonder if it has something to do with my downsizing from 4K to 1440 because my stream latency is set to ultra low. So we should be at the lowest level. That's quite a bit. That might be heavy on the system. All right. Anyway, if you're having an issue, give it a very quick refresh the page, and we'll kind of go from there. And if you guys are noticing more issues, obviously feel free to yell at me, but I do see that we're no longer dropping frames, so we should be good. Anyway, Apex 90% off. I have not heard back yet about my payout, and the reason I believe, I don't have this 100% sure, but the reason that I believe it hasn't been decided is because as a company, they just had other problems to figure out. So I just don't think that like my case was even like considered yet. And obviously when you're talking about this much money, there's a lot that you have to do. Like you can't just willy-nilly be sending 7 figures around and be like, oh, it's fine. Obviously they have to review my trades, they have to do KYC, they have to do AML, they have to do a lot of checks. So, and then I think they're going to be even more serious this time around because of all the drama. So right now, I still haven't heard anything. I'm hoping this week, maybe next week. I don't even necessarily have a date of like they will respond by date X, because who knows what their priority of things to do. When you get to this level, it's pretty much like a big decision in the world of like just the leadership of the company. So it's not like there's like thousands of people who could just be doing this. Like there's a small group of people and there's a priority list of major things that they have to take care of. And eventually I'll be at the top of the queue. And until then, we're just going to be waiting. And of course, I'm going to be trading on other accounts. But with that being said, hey, I've had a great time on Apex. You could take advantage of this 90% off deal. Dirt cheap to pass those evals. Remember, it's 1 day pass. So just wanted to call that out to everyone. And let's check out the market. So right now, we're slightly below the closing value on the SPY. Same thing on the Q, same thing on the Russell. Bitcoin got hit over the weekend. It's currently trading at 66. Looking at the small cap sector, still a little bit down. Gold is actually a decent amount up. Silver is a decent amount up. So that might be worthwhile to pay attention to today. And if you're looking at this like a little bit of bearishness, so the logical question is potentially, why is there a little bit of bearishness? Well, just to give you a very quick recap over the weekend, we had some craziness in I guess Mexico. That's some of the biggest news over the weekend. We had some craziness in Iran and what's going on there with the nuclear talks. And then also with respect to trade, last week on Friday, we found out that the Supreme Court ruled Trump's tariffs to be illegal. So we have all of that from really Friday to now to kind of consider. And on top of it, of course, this upcoming week, we have major macroeconomic reports, we have earnings. So let me get you guys set for like all the things that have been playing out that are going to impact it, and the things that are about to play out that are also obviously going to impact the market. And then from then, the market should be pretty close to open. So we'll lay out all those key levels, see where all the big money's positioned, who's dominating calls or puts. And at that point, we should be ready to absolutely rip it. So with that in mind, you guys can see this. What is this? Eli Lilly launches new OBC. Stock futures fall amid uncertainty about Trump's new tariffs. What is the sizing on this? Do you guys like this size? That's a lot bigger, but I feel like you could still read this and it's not really in our face. So that's a good size. Stock futures fall amid uncertainty. Yeah, we're recovering in the short term. 5-minute was bearish trying to go up. 10-minute got knocked down trying to bounce back. Same thing with the 30-minute, and 4 hours pretty much neutral going flat. You see something very similar in the NASDAQ. The shortest time frames were bearish, trying to fight bullish on the 5, the 10, and the 30, while the 4 hour is doing a great job of going absolutely nowhere. So yeah, depending on the time frame you look at, you can see a little bit of bullishness, a little bit of bearishness. But right now, I would strongly argue for everyone that this is not the appropriate time to really have a bias. I think this is the time to say, hey, I need to wait for data to come in. I need to see the risk reward scenarios. I need to see how the options market is setting up. Going into today and saying, yes, I'm confidently bullish or bearish. I mean, I could even show you on the daily chart, like we were bullish and we went bearish. Now we're back to maybe going bullish. Like we're just in neutrality on SPX. Same thing on NDX. We're just stuck in this neutral zone. Actually, SPX is slightly bullish, while NDX, and remember they're highly correlated, is actually still slightly bearish. So right now, I mean, maybe you do have a super strong bias, and if you do, I wish you the best of luck. I really, really do. For me, in the way I look at the market, I'm not really seeing that compelling of a reasoning of why I should be bullish or bearish. With that in mind, I do want to let you guys know, with respect to seasonality, down here, remember the final portion of February and the first portion of March is commonly dominated by the bears. This is 20 years worth of information. Shout out to Equity Clock. And I'm not saying seasonality is the end all be all, as I normally say. It just gives you an idea of headwinds and tailwinds depending on the direction that you're playing. But the final portion of February and the first portion of March is definitely dominated by the bears over the past 20 years. And then if you look at the past 5 years, the week that's about to kick off is actually one of the most bearish, not the most bearish of the entire year, but on 5 years worth of data, it definitely stands out. And then if we look at the last 3 years worth of data, once again, this is for the S&P 500, it is still a kind of noteworthy in how bearish it actually is. So I just want to point this out that in the 20 years, the 5 years, and the 3 years, there is some sort of seasonal effect here that the bears tend to be dominant. I'm not going to say they win every single time, but in the net, if you were to go short this period and then cover at the end of it, yeah, it would pay more to be a bear than it would be to be a bull. So I just want to put that on everyone's radar. Now, this time around, there's obviously a multitude of things that are going to impact this. Number one, Iran-U.S. nuclear talks set to resume in Geneva on February 26th. So that's about 3 days out. And I want to remind you guys with this one that when tensions were going bad into the weekend, we saw oil spiking. And now that they're calming down a little bit, we're actually seeing oil prices retreat. So if you happen to be an energy trader, specifically crude oil, this is something you're very much going to want to be paying attention to. Completely unrelated story. Mexico takes on cartels as killing of drug kingpin sparks violence. We don't have to spend too much time on it. Kind of a crazy breaking story over the weekend. A lot of, I guess, as they're saying, chaos breaking loose like in Mexico. This clearly could have implications on the U.S. trade with Mexico. And oddly enough, it actually might be positive because the reports, and once again, I'm not a military strategist. I'm not saying I am privy to non-public information, but the reports that are going live are that the U.S. was actually involved in supporting Mexico as a government to pull this one off. So I just want to put that on your radar. But the whole thing is just nuts. And the other thing we have to talk about is the Supreme Court ruling Trump's tariffs, specifically using IEEPA to be illegal. Are tariffs themselves illegal? No, we do it. A lot of times other countries do it. It's a thing that you can do. What got ruled to be illegal is the act in which President Trump enacted these tariffs. He used IEEPA, and basically the Supreme Court said, hey, you're allowed to have tariffs, but you just can't be using that as your reasoning. So we're still kind of in the early stages of the fallout from that decision and what it means and what it doesn't mean. And I would say right now, the one thing that is very clear is just a buttload of uncertainty. Tariffs are a wild card for the economy again, as you can assume. Trump obviously not saying the nicest thing about the Supreme Courts who didn't rule in his favor, and he was very much lauding the ones who did. And then from there, he's like, okay, in the meantime, I'm going to jack up tariffs more, and I'm going to use all these other capabilities I have to basically get the same net effect. Well, the EU not so stoked about that. Europe hits back at pure tariff chaos from the U.S., warning trade deals are at risk. European officials reacted with disbelief and concern to President Donald Trump's latest tariff policy. Pure tariff chaos from the U.S. administration, according to the EU. The ECB president warned business relations could take a hit from the latest uncertainty. And I think that's the best word to really summarize all this is we're just not sure what's going on. And a lot of these markets hate uncertainty. Bitcoin falls as much as 5% as Trump tariff moves raise uncertainty. And it's not clearly, it's not just crypto. It's also equities and commodities. I'm just kind of illustrating a point with that. Global trade confusion returns as Trump overhauls tariff toolkit. I'm assuming this week we're going to be finding out quite a bit more of what's the plan, of what's not the plan. So with respect to this, do whatever you need to. Set your Google alerts, set this, that, the other thing. Pay attention on Twitter. Pay attention to whoever your favorites are. But this is something that not only just the NVIDIA earnings, but I think this will be the other big thing of the week. U.S. importers still paying Trump's illegal tariffs even after Supreme Court ruling. Despite Friday's Supreme Court ruling that President Donald Trump's reciprocal tariffs are illegal, U.S. importers are still paying duties on goods entering the country. U.S. Customs has not yet updated its cargo system management services to remove the tariffs imposed by Trump under the IEEPA. So once again, tariffs are not illegal. Reciprocal tariffs in a general sense are not illegal. They're just now ruled to be illegal if you're using them via IEEPA. An estimated 211,000 containers of goods valued at $8.2 billion that arrived at the U.S. ports between Friday and Sunday, according to Vizion, will be subject to IEEPA tariffs. So I wanted to bring this up, but more so to illustrate a larger point that it is, I found it interesting. The justices did not comment on this, but it's coming to the question of how do we pay back the tariffs to all the people who pay tariffs? And from the little bit I read about it, it sounds like this is going to get caught up in the legal system for years and years and years for all those tariffs for that money to be recouped. So that's going to be a big fallout from this particular issue of how are people going to get their money, not get their money. Like I said, the justices did not comment on that at all, but obviously just something to consider, something to think about. Beyond all of that, yes, you do have major macroeconomic events this week. We're going to get some consumer confidence numbers tomorrow and Trump speaking tomorrow. With respect to today, there is actually nothing scheduled. On Wednesday, you're going to get the inflation report out of the Eurozone, normal initial jobless claims, and then a little bit of PMI and PPI this Friday. So yeah, there's some things going on, but I would say in terms of where you really want to mark your calendar, right here. After the market closes on Wednesday, we will be hearing from NVIDIA. Not only is NVIDIA the bellwether for the AI trade, is it a bubble, is it not a bubble? If it is a bubble, how big is it going to get? If it's not a bubble, what's the fundamental value? Blah, 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 all that good stuff. The world's biggest company, NVIDIA, reporting after the market closes this Wednesday. When I checked it on Friday, the expected move is 5.9%. So yes, we're talking about billions of dollars in market cap, either swinging to the upside or to the downside. So definitely pay attention. On top of that, today after the market closes, HIMS, I know some of you are trading that. Tomorrow morning, Home Depot. Tuesday, AMC, maybe they're going to announce bankruptcy. Kava, I like Kava, not necessarily as a stock, but as food, I like it. Wednesday, Hut 8, crypto mining. On top of market close, you have NVIDIA, but you also have Salesforce, Snowflake, IONQ. D-Wave is going to be on Thursday. Dell after the market closes. So those are the main ones. This is pretty much the final week of this earnings season. Yes, technically there's a couple more to hear from, but just in the most general sense, now at this point we have like 98% of the S&P 500 reporting after this week, so we're pretty much done. So, and even though it doesn't have earnings, I did want to share this with you. JP Morgan concedes it closed Trump's accounts after January 6th attack on Capitol. So it's been a not so subtle fight between Trump and Dimon, obviously President Trump and the CEO, Jamie Dimon, and it feels as if it's continuing to escalate and escalate, which is interesting because obviously you have the influence and the power of the administration against the world's largest bank. So I just kind of wanted to put that on your radar. It never seems to end out too well for individual companies when they start fighting with the administration. So I just wanted to throw that out there. If you haven't already, sign up for the newsletter, mattkohrs.locals.com. It comes to your email inbox every single Sunday. Break down what's going on in the market, cheat sheet for earnings, cheat sheet for all the major macroeconomic events. And then I give you the seasonality of each trading day, which brings us to today. Over the past 27 years, this day is slightly bearish on an individual daily basis. So I just wanted to put that on your radar. And let's get ready over here. Let's get ready. I believe we are a couple seconds. Where's my clock on these new monitors? Oh, that's what I need to figure out. All right, we're about 10 seconds out. So while we are waiting for things to go dingity ding ding ding, I do want to show you all the key levels of the day, but we should get rocking. So hang on one quick second. Where are we? Why am I not getting the data? Hello? Oh, there we go. Took a second to start printing, but here we go. Dingity ding ding ding. The world's largest casino is now open. Best of luck to all. Play responsibly, and if not, have fun. All right, so as you can see, I always mark here. Let's go to the 10-minute. It might just be a little bit easier. As I always do, I mark out the previous high, low, and close. That is the green, the red, and the white horizontal line. The white box is the transition zone, just looking at it from the perspective of market makers and seeing how this all positioning is either setting up or not setting up. But out of the gate, I'm seeing a nice pop. We're actually going right away for this red to green move. Remember, the white line is the previous close, so the red to green move would be because we opened below it and we're about to be testing it, which is something we were talking about early this morning in the Discord. Anyway, from there, that's the transition zone. And then the final thing on your screen are going to be these yellow horizontal lines, which are basically just the positioning of all the major money. It's where we just see, like, obviously, this is the gamma for the 0DT, very low stability today. But one of the beautiful things about options trading and the fact that it's becoming more prolific than ever is we get to track where all the big money's at. So in a nutshell, that's what all these yellow horizontal lines are. It's when we see abnormally sized positions. Now, they might be long calls, short calls, long puts, short puts. It's not, I don't really differentiate it that way. You obviously could. I'm just saying the yellow lines are just like where we see a lot of big money. All right, so what we're going to be doing here, let me get you guys the options flow. I know you are very much interested in that. So here's it for the Mag 7 right out of the gate, a little bit of a pop. Here's it for the S&P 500, also a little bit of a pop. If you want, it is pinned to the top of chat. It is in the description of the video. I'm using Spot Gamma right here. It is by far the best options analytics tool. So if you want to get options analytics and track the flow, look at the tools, and there's a whole other suite of tools you could use within Spot Gamma. Use that link, you could get 80% off. So just shout out to Spot Gamma. It's definitely one of my favorite tools when it comes to the world of trading. All right, let's do this. Silver, I'm going to leave silver up today because it feels like it might be doing some crazy stuff. It's already up 5.3%. But on that note, what else do you guys want up here? We'll leave up the SPY and the NASDAQ. Silver, I'm seeing a lot of people already comment on that one. Do you want NVIDIA up? It is having a pretty good day. Wow, all right. We're popping a little over here. Let me reload this. Alrighty. Interesting. Hang on, let me size this up just so I can see things a little bit better. All right. I have my order set up. Let me switch this over. Nope. Over here. Yeah, I wanted to put myself over there. As you guys can see, I was good today. I did not break any of my rules. I did not trade early. Here's all my accounts. I'm trading on 2 take profits, 5 FFNs, and 5 Lucids. Right now, I do have the Apex accounts, but they're just still frozen, so I can't even trade them if I wanted to. So I'm just trading on this batch of 5. So I have 12 accounts right now. Didn't break any of my rules. Let's zoom in so we can see this a little bit better. The white dash line is VWAP, volume weighted average price, for many good reasons. It's become a lot more popular recently for people to actively pay attention to VWAP. So we'll be looking there, just a lot of VWAP retests. A lot of people are trading that by itself. A lot of people are trading it with Orbo breakouts, breakdowns. A lot of people are trading it with IB and IB retracements. It's interesting. I think it's not necessarily the end all be all because I don't think anything like that in the market actually exists. But I do believe it's an interesting tool that maybe could help you limit some of your risk and reward in that style of a thing. So just wanted to call that out. That's what's on my screen. And then the red, the white, and the teal lines are just EMAs. I think it's the 10, the 20, and the 50. I don't really specifically care about the individual ones of like, I don't think that the 10 EMA is better or worse than the 12. I don't think if you change your EMA a little bit, that's going to be the difference between you making money or not. Generically, I just like to know which way is the EMA pointing. Is it up? Is it down? Or is it going sideways? Why is SPY up? Because people are more aggressively buying it than they're selling it. I mean, that's the direct answer. And I understand that your question is probably more along the lines of why are people more buying it? Well, we would have to ask every single trader in the world. We'd have to ask all of retail, all of institutions, all of hedge funds. We would have to ask all of the bots and the people who coded the bots. I'm trying to illustrate the point that you're probably never going to get that answer. What's EMA? Exponential moving average. So it basically just takes the average value of all your previous candles. So when you say a 10 EMA, which is this red one, which is going to be the lower the number, the faster it reacts, it takes in the value of the last 10 bars. A 20 EMA takes in the last 20 bars, and a 50 takes in the last 50. So that's why The red moves the quickest because it's taking in the newest data, like obviously very rapidly. And then it's going to change as you go all the way to 50, which is going to be a little bit slower moving because it's just taking in so much more value. But it's EMA because it's exponential moving average, which means there's more weight on the more recent bars. And then when you go back, there's less weight. And the other common one is a simple moving average. And the difference there with a simple moving average is literally they're all weighted the same. It's like a run of the mill, just like how would you average out it? And that's, I use EMA more than SMA. I'm not saying one's better or worse. In my mind, it makes sense to put more weight on the more recent data because it's more recent data, but there are people out there who trade SMAs and do perfectly fine. And there are other types, EMA, SMA, they're the two most popular. There's another one that's similar to exponential moving average. It's called the weighted moving average, so WMA. And there's like, that's just another example, but there's many. Like, it just keeps going. It's just how many different ways can you average shit out? The data centers are probably going to be in Indonesia. I have no idea what you're talking about, but sure. If you say so. So Mag 7 had a little pop this morning, and ever since then it's been getting hit, while the S&P 500, slightly different story, had a little pop, and now it's just kind of flat, giving some of it back, but nothing too crazy. Let me get the SPX here. I do want to point out that the daily chart, not necessarily looking the best. We've kind of gone nowhere ever since December. I mean, look at this. This is the daily chart for the S&P 500. We've basically triple top, triple bottom, no real trend, overall market not trending. And that's why since December, I've really only been selling premium, because what's the point of going long calls or long puts if we are not trending? By definition, we are not trending. Look at all these EMAs. They're almost perfectly flat. Coming back to these average values, we're just going sideways. Remember, not all trading days are built the same. And right now, we're in an entire trading period where from basically mid-December to this moment, we haven't done shit. And when we're just not getting a nice trend, well, I don't need to be putting on bets that aren't going to benefit from that. I'd rather be doing things like selling premium, which is going to benefit from a non-trendy environment. So I'm happy with that. Obviously, this is with respect to the daily view. This is actually looking pretty decent over here. There are some sellers at 25,050. Hang on, let's look at this. 5 minutes bullish, 10 minutes bullish, 30 minutes bullish, 4 hours trying to go bullish, 5 minutes bullish, 10 minutes bullish, 30 minutes bullish, 4 hour, is attempting to go bullish. So I wonder if we can actually target those highs from Friday. There is also an upside gap fill on the NASDAQ. You probably won't see this I know you won't see it if you're looking at the Qs or if you're looking at NDX, but due to the timing of the Globex session, you can see this on the futures market. There is an upside gap fill at 25,069, which if we continue with this bullish momentum, basically if the Mag 7 can actually get going here, I would love that as a target level. Just a very classic target, and we are successfully holding this. Interesting. Do I have my trade copier on today? I do. I do. Oh, I do. Hang on. Let me figure out some of my sizing issues. My charts are all new charts, so I just want to get this to a level that I'm actually happy with it. Let's get it. Haven't done any trades yet. Of course, you're going to hear it if we do. Any update from Apex? Nope. I'm just waiting. Trust me, guys. I will be screaming it from the mountaintops if and when I find out. I'm just waiting. It takes time. Oops. Hang on. I disconnected for a second there. I understand that it takes time. I'm not saying it helps with my anxiety by any means whatsoever, but I get why it takes so much time to review. So it just we're talking about a serious amount of money. QQQ doesn't look too good. It looks, wow, look at silver. How many of you are in on this silver move right now? That's crazy. That's nuts. Silver, if you just went long on silver at open, the amount of money you would have right now. Are any of you playing this one? Silver is just not really my forte. I mean, I used to trade gold. I was never really trading silver. I think I did a silver trade recently, just like when this all happened, just because you guys were telling me about it. It's just not my cup of tea. I'm just not really, I'm not against it. In fact, I admit that if you've been paying attention to it, this is probably one of the best times ever to trade silver. So I'm not talking crap on it. I'm just saying it's not necessarily my skill set. But I could imagine how many of you just punted long. Is Bitcoin coming back? Who knows? I'm in silver. Silver futures are way too insane long in silver. Open up 161%. That is crazy. That is absolutely crazy. Yeah, the silver futures market is ridiculous. All right, just to show you this, we are at VWAP. Wouldn't be surprised if there's a reaction here. The volume weighted average price. That is literally, if you look at all the trades on the day, and where they're traded at, multiplied by their trade volume, and then average all that out. That's what VWAP is. So it's the volume weighted average price. And a lot of people have been paying attention to it lately. And indicators come and go in terms of popularity. I remember circa 2017, 2018, where VWAP was like the end all be all. It really was. 2017, 2018, if you were in the world of trading stocks, especially penny stocks, everyone was addicted to VWAP. Everyone was addicted to VWAP. And then 2019, 2020, 2021, it was there, but like kind of fell out of popularity. No one was seemingly talking about it in 21, 22, 23, something like that. And slowly but surely it's been coming back. And now I feel like it's all I hear about. It's all I hear about. Wait, hang on. You guys are saying that Bitcoin is getting smashed? I mean, it's getting hit. That's not looking so good. Bitcoin going one way, silver going the exact opposite. It looks like they're trying to meet here in the middle. Silver rocketing, Bitcoin falling, gold also rocketing, but the movement percentage-wise is bigger in silver here. The SPY and the Qs were holding on decently until about 9:40. And we just got that 10-minute Orbo breakdown, 10-minute Orbo opening range breakdown. It did definitely just get clocked to the downside. Patience. I'm just getting ready. I haven't done any trades yet. You're going to know it when it happens. You'll hear it. You'll sense it. Oh, I'm just wondering. We're right at this VWAP level here. We're also kind of at these swing lows. That's kind of getting hit. 5 minute, I can't really short because the 5 minute, 10 minute, 30 minute, it's all still bullish. We haven't really broken yet. 5 minute over here definitely did. So did the 10 minute. Okay, so the NASDAQ on a relative basis is weaker. 5 minute, or I should say the NASDAQ as a whole is attempting to switch trends from bullish to bearish in the shorter time frame. It's pushing right now. We'll find out a bit more in about 6 minutes, and we'll find out quite a bit more in 30 minutes to know if this 30-minute cloud breaks down. On a relative basis, the S&P 500 is trying to hold things up. So we're in one of those weird things where there's mismatch. The SPY is clearly stronger than the Qs. So that leads us with the awkward question of who's right now. You have two options. You can bet that you're on the right one of being bullish and bearish. And hey, if you're right, you're right. You probably got in with lower risk, but you're also taking on the risk of like a lack of confirmation. I'm seeing completely different stories being told this morning on the S&P 500 and on the NASDAQ. And you're kind of seeing that here. The Mag 7 is getting destroyed. The NASDAQ, it's actually a little bit popping there, but the Mag 7, the combo of Apple, Amazon, Google, Meta, Microsoft, NVIDIA, and Tesla, definitely getting smoked. While the S&P 500, it actually kind of popped, gave some back going flat. So not only are we seeing the differential in price of like S&P's trying to hold on while the NASDAQ's getting hit, we're seeing that also directly in options as well, like in terms of the options flow. So something to consider. Something to consider. Timber, maybe. 9 EMA and MACD. MACD and 9 EMA are measuring very, very similar things. So be careful with that correlation. That's the moving average convergence divergence. So like, You're basically taking one of your EMAs and there's another one and it's measuring the distance in between it. And it kind of gives you an idea of momentum or recent velocity, but they're somewhat correlated. Obviously, if the 9 EMA is ripping, you're going to have the MACD ripping and vice versa. And if the 9 EMA is going flat, the MACD is going to be going flat. So I'd be really, really careful with comparing. I'm not against it, but just understand the 2 indicators you're using are very correlated. And generally, your signals are stronger if you're using non-correlated indicators. Not that I'm against putting those together, but you might also want to slap in another indicator that doesn't have the same like inherent math behind it. There's a pretty decent mathematical overlap between using an EMA and the MACD. 9 EMA and MACD, watch for divergence. You could have divergence in the MACD, but you wouldn't have divergence between the 9 EMA and the MACD. That's not how you would use it. You could have divergence in the MACD itself, but once again, those indicators are only telling you about historic price action. That's what they are. Like the computation of the 9 EMA, the computation of the MACD is literally just based on the recent price bars. That's not necessarily forward looking. It's a mathematical data descriptor of what's just happened. So, and that's actually most indicators. Most are lagging indicators, like not all of them, but a large super majority of indicators that are used are clearly going to be lagging indicators because they need the recent price action and the open, high, low, close, or what have you to do all of those computations. So remember, none of it is taking in future information. That would be impossible. We're only taking in the recent trades. So it's one of those things. I'm not against indicators. I'm against this concept of thinking that one standalone indicator is quote unquote money, because there's no single indicator that by itself is like, that's all you need. Like it's just not how this game works. Because if there were one indicator by itself that were perpetually printing money, literally just everyone would have a bot system running on it. So for example, let's say that the MACD, like as soon as it crossed whatever, over positive, you go long, and when it crosses over negative, go short. Hang on one second. Do I want to take this? No, I can't. There's too much divergence here between the NASDAQ and the S&P 500. Anyway, if it were that simple, which I wish trading were that simple, unfortunately, it's just clearly not. But if it were that simple, literally, there would just be endless bot systems trading that concept. And then, how's the flow looking? Mag 7's getting beat up. SPY's looking a little weak here. Oh, it's a little early. Do I want to trade? We're right below VWAP. I'm thinking, I'm looking at the SPY starting to be a bit more weak. Before I was thinking, NASDAQ is clearly weak. Will the SPY follow suit? And I'm wondering if the SPY actually is following suit. It did snap 6,900. We're coming up to this support at 885. I haven't done anything yet. You're going to hear it if it trades. Matt, wait for 10 a.m. No, I usually wait for the setup. There's no guarantee. Like if the setup comes at 9:59, I'm going to take it. It's more of a setup type situation than a time type situation. Oh, brother. Can I get in with low risk on this?
Order submitted. Order filled. Order submitted.
All right, we're taking a stab at it. Basically, I'm wondering if this is a VWAP failure. I'm a little iffy about the situation because we didn't actually touch it, and maybe it does want to touch it. Of course, how it's going now. And the reason I took that trade is because we just swept the lows. I was like, okay, like we just have these lower highs, lower lows, and there's my luck of it bounces right in my face, like literally instantaneously. But my risk is in control. Like I'm I'm happy with this. Well, I'm not happy with it, but I'm accepting of this risk, and I'm just kind of watching this VWAP level. Of course, that's the retest. That's the real trade I wanted. So had I waited, I got in this trade at 950. If I waited 20 seconds, 19 seconds, I could have gotten the exact trade I wanted. But hey, sometimes that is just trading for you. Sometimes it's just trading. And we got knocked out. That sucks. That sucks. Oh, look at this. How brutal is this? So basically right there, this breakdown on SPX and on NQ was my trigger long, but now we pop back up enough to actually be going bullish again. So, hey, you have a stab at it. If you want to know about my odds of trading, it's about 50-50. I think my hit rate, the last time we checked it, silver's really coming undone now. Look at that. Silver pump, pull back. That's crazy. The last time we checked it, I think it was like 55%. It's just how my trading system works. My trading system is right about half of the time. And I wish I could be right on every single trade I've ever done. It's just trading isn't that game. Told you. Yeah, there's no real told you to trading because if you were that confident, that good, well, I would tell you, you wouldn't be watching this show. You'd be trading your own multi-billion-dollar account somewhere making endless money. Folks, the market is 50-50. This idea of told you, Zach, that's just kind of stupid because you can make any random call out and you're going to be right half the time. That is trading. So you could literally go up to someone on the street and just say, hey, have you ever traded before? Their answer might be no. And they literally might have no knowledge of the market and they are still going to be right 50% of the time. So this idea of like, I told you, no one knows shit. I mean, you could say I told you if it's like a discussion of like better risk management, but to try to say I told you in terms of prediction of the market, you literally just don't know. If you want to be right 100% of the time, just become a politician. Dude, even Pelosi loses, which I always find to be crazy. But Pelosi has losing trades. Like even all those politicians with insider information, in the net, they're right, and they're right quite a bit. All right, am I going to take a stab at this again? What would my risk be? 60. That's another 40 points. That's $800 of risk. If I'm wrong on it, it puts me down 2. I'm watching this just because we're back to VWAP. We shot to VWAP. We failed and puked. And we went from 940 down to 860. So 80 point puke. And then we went from 860 up to 960, 100 point bop. I tried to take this failure right here. We ran into the cloud. We puked out. Just didn't go my favor. It's going to happen. You could have this exact same setup later today, and it might pay amazingly. Do I want to take it again? The risk, I'm fine with the risk. It's a little bit larger than I want it to be at 953, especially after a losing trade here. So maybe I just need to be a bit more patient. Let's check the flow. Your stop should have been your entry. I fully disagree with that. Why would I be going short when everything was popping up at that point? It could have just kept ripping. I fully disagree with that. SPY's getting hit here. You're saying this should have been my entry when we recaptured and all this started? No way. Fully disagree with that. Just from a risk reward perspective, what would I have been my risk level? Once again, I'm not commenting on like, oh, I know where price is going to go. I'm saying from a risk reward perspective, don't like it. What do we have here? Do we have an opportunity? We hit 50% of the range, got rejected pretty clearly there. I'm from the future. Next trade wins. Hey, I'll take that. Is it actually going to crack here? What are we doing? What in the world? We're right at VWAP here. All right, I'll take a stab at it.
Order submitted.
Already putting my stop in. This is kind of at the upper end of what I want to risk, especially after already having a losing trade, but it's a very valid signal. So we're going to give it a whirl. We're going to see how this one either does or doesn't play out. What I'm looking for is a crack not only below 24,900, the psychological level, but this low over here, 83, which is kind of where I got in before. And this is a bummer because if I held on to my initial play, I'd pretty much be good, but waiting to see if we can actually... at 950, we had the swing low of 83. So we're going to see. Not only did Icarus fire, but I'm seeing SPX crack this level. And yeah, there might be some support right here at 85. But if it keeps going, I'm looking down here at 860. And then I'm looking at the Mag 7. It is getting beaten up. So I'm trading with that trend. And the SPY is also getting beaten up. So I am on the right side of the trend right now. I need a little bit more weakness in the SPY. But looking at this, the Nasdaq, it's on the bearish side. 10 minutes on the bearish side. 30 minute, we technically have to wait 3 minutes. So I might be a little early here in terms of this 30-minute bar hasn't closed yet. And I feel a bit more comfortable knowing exactly where we close. But like I said, we find out in 3 minutes. So I guess we're going to find out if I did the right thing or the wrong thing here pretty soon. What time is it? 9:57. There might be a little bit of a jostle for position here at 10 a.m. Sometimes the first 30 minutes we see a bit of movement. So maybe it'll go my way. Maybe it won't. But time will tell. Time will definitely tell. Or is it just going to get saved and knock me out? Son of a gun. We'll see. We'll see. I do see quite a few buyers down below at 895. So just below where we were here, 895. Roughly where my cursor is. Bookmap is showing a decent amount of sitting buyers right there, which is obviously below VWAP. It's also below the point of control, which is exactly at 900. So I would say between 930 and 895. 895 up to 930. Kind of for the NASDAQ, a bit of a transition zone. So let's see how that actually ends up playing out. We're about to have the turn of the hour. What about the news feed? Are we missing anything in news over here? News. EU freezes U.S. trade deal approval over Trump tariff uncertainty. Trump reiterates, I do not have to go back to Congress to get approval for tariffs. All right. Trump at Angel Families event at 10 a.m. So Trump is doing something. The Angel Families, I'm not sure exactly what that is, but we're going to be finding out pretty soon. Pretty soon. All right. Oh, brother. All right. So my break even, I think, is right. It's pretty much the intraday low is my break even. So that means for me to actually make money here, we need a real sell-off, not one of those fake ones. 55 points. Yeah. Yeah, actually my break even is pretty much exactly the intraday low. Oh, patience. I do feel like kind of coming back to Zach's comment. I do feel like I've been trading a little bit too early each of these days. I feel like over the past week that almost every single one, I think to myself, man, I kind of wish I waited a little bit. Oh, just so you know, right now, real time, there are a bunch of buyers at 75. So I'll be watching that. But just looking up here, right there, this blue horizontal line, 24,875, decent amount of buyers lining up there, and then a good amount at 70. So it looks like either you have shorts trying to lock in their profits right there, or buyers trying to put in a bottom. A sitting buy order is a sitting buy order. Time will tell. I feel like this doesn't look as crisp as it should. Is it coming through? Can you guys, would you say that these numbers are crisp, or do I need is it because of the scale? maybe I got the wrong monitors. These are 4K monitors. I had to do the scaling as scaled in like 200%. That's what ChatGPT told me to do to make sure all the sizing is the same with my other monitors. But it doesn't feel like the lines are like as crisp as I just thought they would be having a 4K monitor. So maybe I need to look into that one a little bit. Anyway, that's a side point. Non-crispy. Non-crispy. Oh. This does not make me necessarily feel the best. It might be recapturing here. What do we have going on? What do we have going on? Oh, hang on. This might be knocking me out here pretty soon. It's fighting hard to protect this. See, Mag 7 just now catching a bid. SPY catching a little bit. This bid that, I mean, I'm showing you we're bouncing off this low. This might be what knocks me out. Fuck.
Order filled.
Yeah, I had to protect myself just in case this is a real trend reversal. Dude, I'm having the worst luck with fake outs today. Look at that. I was the top. The reason you just can't keep holding it is because if it is a real trend reversal, like right here, you have a little bit of a technical breakout, you have a VWAP recapture. In one universe, yes, this could unfortunately knock me out and come right back down and screw me over. That is 100% possible. 100% possible. And it looks like it might be reality. But in a different universe, this could be a real breakout and it could just keep going and it could completely screw me over. So you have to trade in a manner that you're gonna get screwed over. You have to. This idea of let's just hope that it magically goes back in my favor. Your base assumption should just be that it doesn't. And that's how you're going to be able to survive this game. That's going to be how you survive it. And even right here, this could be the fake out. Or what if it's just the 10 a.m. reversal and it does get ripped? I guess the point I'm trying to illustrate is you just don't know. So behave in the manner that, no, probably the bad thing is going to happen. And just live to fight another day. If you're perpetually putting yourself in a situation to live to fight another day, inherently, that's how it's going to go. Inherently. Rick's on? Hell yeah. Thanks for the Rick call out. And of course, wow. Literally, I top ticked that. It just knocked. It's unfortunately, it hits your psychology. I'm not saying it's necessarily easy to deal with, but it's just how you have to behave.
Ruling means for tariff rates and the economy and jobs of inflation. How much of a game changer is it? Well, first of all, President Trump, as we heard from Secretary Besson over the weekend on some of the shows, and the trade ambassador, Jamieson Greer, remains defiant in his use of tariffs. He says this morning at 7 a.m. on Truth Social, the Supreme Court will be using lowercase letters for a while based on complete lack of respect of the United States, accidentally and unwittingly gave me as president of the United States far more powers and strength than I had prior to their ridiculous, dumb, and very internationally divisive ruling. The court has also approved other tariffs, he says, for example, of which there are many, and they can all be used in a much more powerful and obnoxious way with legal certainty than the tariffs initially used. We did get a taste of that as the president immediately moved to implement 10% and then 15% over the weekend tariffs using the 122 clause. So how do we calculate what all of this means? Well, good thing we have the Yale Budget Lab because they do some real-time work here on this. So basically before the IEEPA ruling, the Supreme Court ruling was shot down, the effective tariff rate,
we just got clocked right there,
was about 16% here. Now, with the substitution of the 122 15% tariffs, that's 13.7%. So it's comparable. A little bit less.
Order submitted.
But what's interesting is that this one only lasts for 150 days. So unless he can get it extended, it would go
canceled.
down to about 9%, 9.1%, if he cannot, I don't know, get it codified in Congress or figure out other mechanisms using all sorts of investigations to get these more permanent. It does spell relief, right, ultimately for corporations, consumers. Yale Budget also looked at the PCE impact, the inflationary impact. So before the Supreme Court ruling was struck down, 1.2%, they say, change in PCE levels this year. And now with the substitution of the new tariffs, that's only 0.9%. So, we talked to Torsten
Wow.
Slok of Apollo, and he was saying this is good. It means less pressure on inflation. They put some numbers behind it.
Any idea?
SPY
Sarah,
just
'cause
hit an
you're a good
intraday
fund
low.
translator, what far
Qs
more
are going
powers
for
and
it.
strength than I had prior to their ruling means?
It means
I can't believe I was going to be in on this flush and I literally top tick got knocked out. It's unfortunate, and yeah, you could complain about it,
all
but
sorts of authorities and
you
provisions
still always
within
have to
various
respect your
laws
risk. So
to do
I made a
something
good
about
trade
it, use
decision.
leverage
It's a hard
on
pill
trade
to
as he has
swallow
done, and
for
has been a
sure.
hallmark of his
But
administration. We also heard from
it's still the
Secretary
right
Bessent that
trade
the
decision.
trade
And
deals,
sometimes
there were
with the
some
right trade
questions about the
decision,
trade
you can
deals
still lose
that were
money.
struck under these IEEPA tariff pressures, whether they would need to be renegotiated. I mean, Secretary Bessent said that the trading partners are good, although there are questions about Europe, for instance.
Yeah, they
pushback.
just halted their ratification process, and India canceled their trip to the U.S.
Wow.
Yeah, good luck to them.
Trump's
I mean,
gonna
I
get
think
pissed.
I don't think that that's going to go down well on the
Definitely
administration.
not.
But clearly, this raises some uncertainty and some questions. As for what it means for the overall economy, J.P. Morgan economists publishing over the weekend, they say the macro impact of these developments shouldn't be huge. That isn't to say there won't be
watching for
headaches for importers
860
juggling
here,
different
followed
tariff
by
schedules, but the
850.
difference in the aggregate fiscal burden of the tariffs on domestic purchasers is not enough to have a big impact.
Mag 7
on
got
our
clocked
outlook.
right there. SPY
Economically,
got
that is.
clocked.
Right. Meantime, stocks losing some steam here as the president again is on Truth Social talking about trade.
He's back on
Dow's
Truth
down a
Social.
4%, down 526. Joining us this morning, Lizanne Saunders, Charles Schwab, Chief Investment Strategist. What a weekend, Lizanne. Good to have you.
Nice to see
Who
you.
is this?
I don't know whether you want to get into the trade weeds, but overall, we could have a discussion about.
Okay,
the way in
5
which
minute
the
is
S&P
bearish,
has
10
kinda
minutes
turned
bearish,
around,
30-minute
even
closes
as
in
various
22
components
minutes,
have
but it
either
currently is on the
crushed it or
bearish
gotten
side for the
crushed.
S&P 500. The Nasdaq is
I
bearish
think the
on the
churn
5
that's
and the
happening under
10.
the
Same.
surface,
Oh, technically the
S&P
last
is
bar
at,
did close
at the
here.
index level, only a 3% drawdown. On a year-to-date basis, but the average
Interesting.
member within the
I
S&P
care a
has
lot
had an
about this
11%
30-minute
drawdown.
bar.
The Nasdaq, it's even more stark.
On both
Nasdaq
the
has had a little bit
NQ
more
and
of a drawdown
ES.
at the index level.
I wanna
at
know which way they're
6%,
going.
But the average member down almost 25%.
We did crack
tremendous amount of churn
85, so
rotation
that
under the
sets up the
surface.
next test of
I think
60
the
followed by
likelihood that
50.
persists
And then from
may
there,
have
we're talking
gotten a
about like
little
835. So
with
860,
ongoing
850,
and maybe
835 if you're
newly
bearish.
heightened,
If you're
trade
bullish,
uncertainty.
recapture of
I think
85,
that rotation and churn is likely to
900, and then
Right.
910.
I mean, we just talked about some of the notion that it might have been a push for the market on Friday, but to the degree that we have additional fights about the
850 is where I
legality
see
of
buyers right
122
now on
or
NQ,
the
24,850.
Is
We're
that gonna
trading at
weigh on employment,
887.
investment, or
50
markets
is the
overall?
intraday low.
Well, it could weigh in both directions. There has been a constraint on non-AI related CapEx, in part due to trade-related uncertainty, and also due to tariffs' impact on profit margins. Many companies have tried to protect their profit margins post the front running of imports, which built inventories at a low cost basis. Then they shifted not so much to major layoffs, but restraint on hiring. And now with this ongoing uncertainty, and you're right to point out that the courts potentially could rule not in favor of Section 122. The other sections that are being discussed, there's investigations that have to occur in order for those to be used
The
as
buyers are still
mechanisms.
at
So,
850. I'm
man,
curious if we're
you
going to
know,
crack
for
that on
people who
NQ.
said
Once
that
again,
most of the tariff-related
24,850.
uncertainty was in the rearview mirror, now need to be focused on through the windshield because it's still very
1
much
minute
ahead
is
of us.
bearish,
Yeah,
5
there's
minutes bearish,
232,
10's
301,
bearish,
338,
30 minute
and
we
that,
need to wait.
creates some time delays. And the market was kind of okay, Lizanne, with
Like I
with the
said, if
tariffs
you're looking
and
for
with the
SPX,
presidential
I'm looking at
authority over tariffs.
860,
We were
Y
reaching new
860,
highs. There were expectations
right
of
here.
record profit
Just a bit of a
margins.
node, but it's 840 is actually becoming more important.
If there wasn't worry about that then,
You know what? I need to
why would there
update
be
this.
now,
These are
I guess,
new
is my
trades.
question.
Well, so here's the thing: when you talk about
850.
profits
Yeah,
being,
we got to update
resilient,
this.
and they have
860 is
been,
no longer the
S&P
target.
Earnings growth has been 12-13%.
The real target is 850 all the way down to 35, the low from Friday. So watching this 15-point zone, and then from there 820, 800, but just updating those based on the trades of the
publicly
day.
traded companies like the S&P 500, private sector companies,
55
sole
down to.
proprietorships,
You have a bit of a
S-corps.
put credit
You're
spread
talking
here that
about
might be
a
supported at
flattish
840.
earnings trend over the
We
past
just
year.
hit the
So in
intraday
stark
low.
contrast to
Buyers
what we're
stepping
seeing for
in.
the
I told you
S&P
850 had
That
those
helps to
buyers. We
explain
just popped 25
why
points.
Smaller businesses are feeling the bite more. They don't have the
Potentially
flexibility.
a double
They don't
bottom.
have the
It did wick
nimbleness. They don't have
lower.
the diversification in supply chains. And I think this will allow that persistence in the massive spread between profit margins and earnings associated with a large cap growth
850.
oriented index and basically the entire economy.
That would be
Lizanne,
my
to
target
change the
level.
subject a bit, but to something I'm sure, and I know that you've been
The
speaking to your
overnight
clients
low
about,
on
which is
NQ, if you
AI
need a
and the
target
impact
there,
it's
is
having, broadly speaking, on so many
24,808,
stocks. You
it looks
mentioned
like.
earlier.
Yeah.
Just
I mean,
above
the IGB
800.
this morning is down almost 4%. It's Salesforce, it's ServiceNow, it's Adobe, all down over 4%. I know you introduced this idea of 3 C's of AI progression.
VWAP is 9.
Create, catalyze,
like
and cascade. Are we in that
22-ish.
cascade phase yet?
We're at
We are in the
900.
cascade. When I first had fun with this, come up with the 3 C's of the phases. At first, I thought about cultivate being the third phase as
Point
the
and
market
control
started
is
to focus on
900.
who are the broad beneficiaries, who's using AI, and that spans industries and sectors. But then we started to see the market also focus on who's being disrupted. So I kind of changed it to cascade. As it cascades through the economy, there's sort of one set
Bitcoin
of eyes
being
on
oddly
who is being
resilient,
disrupted.
actually.
The SaaS stocks, you had trucking and logistics get wrapped into it. Our industry, financial
Silver
services,
is
got
all
wrapped
over the
into
place
it.
today.
Rapid fire, sell first,
Nvidia
do
got
research
hit.
later. And for now
Microsoft.
anyway, the beneficiary side of
Palantir.
things has
It's
taken
trying to
a little
fight
bit
back,
of a
but down
backseat. And that's just the
3.7.
nature of a lot of money moving around in the market that has very limited attention span and really, really short time horizons. I don't think that changes anytime soon.
Right. Well, you said sell first, do research later. So when does the research get done? And
This might be
what
a
do we
fake
find
out
out
right
when
here.
and if it
I don't
is
know.
actually done?
Between 1009
Well,
and
what's interesting is
1010,
you
one of
have
these bars
started
is a
to
fake
see
out.
a little
We
bit
either
of that
swept
buy the
low
dip
and we're popping
kick
from there,
back in
or
on
we
the part
swept
of the
this high,
retail
but we're actually
trader,
getting
but they're
cracked. So
doing it
one of
more
these
at the
is fake.
individual
One of these
stock
is a
level
trap.
than they
Now,
are
which
in
one
sort
is
of
a
a
trap?
monolithic
I'll tell you a
time
little
to buy
bit.
the
I'll tell you
industry,
better
time
in
to
a
buy
little
the
bit,
sector.
but
And that is the difference
the
so far
1009,
this year
1010 bar
relative
setups,
to
that's a brutal
not
one.
just last year, but the last few years, where that buy the
That's
dip
a brutal
mentality
one.
had a broader sort of umbrella associated with it. Now you're seeing it at the individual stock level, but you're not seeing it at the industry level. And I'm not sure what it's going to take for that buy the dip crowd to think more
Buy the dip
monolithically
crowd.
and not, all right, let's try to pick off one or two of these stocks and try to find some sort of interim low.
Yeah, next time, Lizanne, we'll talk a little international too, and the U.S.'s share of some of these global equity flows so far this year. It's great to see you. Thanks for the help,
You
as
too.
always. Lizanne
Thanks for having
Saunders.
me.
All right.
Here's our roadmap.
Spies
for the rest
going
of the
for it.
hour.
Queues
After
are
the
not
break,
far
Eurasia Group's
behind.
Ian Bremmer on
Like
the
I said,
Supreme Court
850.
tariff ruling.
I'll set an
The
alert there
president's
so we
new
know
social
if it
media post
exactly
saying
tags
he doesn't
it.
need congressional approval
But
for tariffs.
we got hit
Shares of
going
Novo
sideways.
Nordisk,
We're now
they're down
pressing.
sharply this morning. This is the company's
S&P
weight loss drug
500 is trying to
disappoints, at least
recover
versus
ever since
Eli Lilly's
10:05.
drug
Price
in a
not
trial.
following
We'll give you
suit.
those
Mag 7
details.
is flat
And the
at its
latest
low
on
of the
this ongoing
day.
blizzard that is
NASDAQ all
crippled
over the
New York
place.
City.
Looks
We
drunk.
made it in okay, and much of the Northeast. Squawk on the Street is back after this.
All right. Squawk on the street. We don't need that. Remember, 90% off Apex. The evals are dirt cheap right now. You have 1 day left. 90% off with code Goonie. If you want to trade with me, GoonieTrading.com. It's all in the description of the video. So just wanted to shout those out while we are waiting to see what in the world happens here. SPY is cracking a little bit. Q's not so much. Watching, what's that? 12 more points right here. 850. We are in negative gamma. Positive gamma's all the way up there. All the way up there. We don't have the initial balance yet. Someone's asking about initial balance. Initial balance is the first hour's high and low. So you do need to trade it in regular trading hours if you're on the East Coast from 9:30 to 10:30. And then you mark out the high and the low from 9:30 to 10:30. That's the initial balance. At this point, we do have the Orbo, which is like commonly the 30-minute. I guess technically you could use whatever Orbo you want. But when people refer to the Orbo, generally they're referring to 30 minutes. So from 9:30 to 10 a.m., the high and the low there. And we did break to the south side on both of those. We did take out the 10 a.m. low. We did, yeah. So both the SPY and the Qs, the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ broke downside on the 30-minute. But we can't comment really on the initial balance yet because nothing's happened yet. But what I'm looking at is literally right here, just this move, 850. It's a key level. Right here, it's the start of this positive gamma. It's a little bit of a positive gamma node over here, but I'm looking from 850 to 840. You guys can see this over here. See how there's a bit of a put credit spread? We're protected at 840 and their protection leg is 835. So kind of watching this zone right here between 850 and 835, watching that 15-point region. Oh, and there are sellers on NQ right here at 24,882.83. We just got knocked by them, but not much is happening. We kind of went, I cannot believe I got knocked out the way that I did, dude. That was a brutal. If I was a little bit less risk adverse, I'd be having a nice trade right now, but that's just me bitching and moaning, honestly, folks. Like, it's still a good decision. I got out. I respected my risk, and it just unfortunately didn't go in my manner. That shit's going to happen. There's still sellers at 82, 83. I'm not really seeing buyers on Bookmap quite yet. Let's go to the 5 minute. Let's go to the 5 minute. Let's go to here. Let's update all of this. Those sellers are still there, right above on NQ. Like right above where we are. They're up where my cursor is, like 8. Oh, we're at it right now, 82. Let's see if we can actually get the follow through. The point of control is 900. Doesn't look like it. I'm waiting 13 more minutes to see where these 30-minute bars close. Dude, the SPY's getting hit. All right, yeah, it's just 850 at this point. NVIDIA. Silver's now. Silver had a nice pop, gave some back, try to get going again, and it's back on the train and getting hit. NQ's back to 900. SPY hasn't really gone for it quite yet. We went from the Qs being weaker at market open to now this point, the SPY's at, NVIDIA's getting hit. That's not going to be so good for the SPY or the Qs. Remember, NVIDIA's weighted a lofty amount in the S&P 500 and NVIDIA, and the NASDAQ. NVIDIA. I guess that's the perks of being the world's biggest company. I don't think it's technically the highest weighting, though, in either of those. Last time I checked, but I might be wrong on that one. All right. Alrighty. Just waiting for something to happen here, folks. Are we actually going to attempt to recover, or is this just going to be a flat period before a puke? Here's a look at the Mag 7. It did get hit pretty hard. It's a slight curl up right here, but not really anything measured to how much we've come off. SPY is getting a nice recovery. Starting at 10.05, we had this flow alert at 10.04. There's a little bit of a, I guess, cascade for a minute. And ever since then, no one's buying calls. So what we're seeing right now, it's because it's the blue lines going up on spot gamma. The blue lines, at least if you have the default settings that I do, the blue lines are the puts. So what we're seeing is puts are being bought. They're being sold. Most likely players, 0 DTE put players locking in their profits. No one's touching calls. So I would say what we're seeing right now, this like little pop in the market, is because of lack of bearishness, not really new bullishness. We're not seeing bullishness because then we would see calls being purchased. What we're seeing is puts being sold. So I can't say this definitively. We'll know it better at the end of the day, but most likely this put selling is people locking in, not necessarily selling to open a position. Of course, they might be selling to open a position. That is possible. Just selling is selling to open and selling to close have the same impact on delta. Obviously, there's other ramifications. But for right now, the fact that the blues are going up and the green is not going up, this little pop, it's not bull stepping in. It's a lack of bearishness. It's not really renewed bullishness. So I would be at the moment, and remember, this situation is dynamic. Every second things are changing, but I wouldn't necessarily be so sold on this concept of buying the dip quite yet. I would want to be convinced. And how I would be convinced is I would see some like these 5-minute, these 10-minute EMA clouds go back bullish. And until then, I'm erroring a bit on the side of bearishness until proven otherwise, just because we are on the south side of most of these moving averages. Just a basic measure of momentum. But hey, that's just how I see the market. And thus far, I have not been doing well today. So maybe you don't want to take my word for it. We'll see. We'll see. How are we looking over here? We're back at 900. We're almost back to VWAP. Is it going to be a VWAP test? A tap and crap on old VWAP here? The old tap and crap. We're coming up to the 1 minute cloud high on NQ. Well, based on the size of this bounce, we have something interesting. We're either about to legitimately start the reversal or this fails and it's a great short opportunity because you could get in with lower risk. So I'm not necessarily commenting on the bullishness or bearishness of it, of like the right way to play, but just the setup of it, where you could either get in on the new trend or the current trend, bearishness, is going to persist and you can get in with very low risk. Which one is it going to be? Which one is it going to be? We're right at VWAP. VWAP on NQ, if that's what you're trading, which I know is probably the most popular for futures, is 920. We just tapped it. We went above. Now we're slightly below. This is happening as the 1 minute on NQ is chesting its major EMAs. So we're just coming to a very important level of equilibrium. And hey, if you want to just arbitrarily guess who's going to be the winner, great. You have 50-50 shot, and I wish you the best of luck. Or you could be a bit more patient and just wait to see which way we actually trend from here and ideally get in and out with ideally low risk. I'm curious if it gets knocked back below 900. So 920 is roughly VWAP. 900 is the point of control. Oh, brother. Yeah, see how Spike tried to get going, but still lower high. If it takes out 61, which is the current intraday low, I guess we're looking at 850 down here. But watch this crack. Once again, the intraday low is currently 6,861.25. I'm just guessing, but it doesn't feel like this is going to be holding for too long. Looking at NQ, we'll get into the 1 minute. What I'm watching on NQ, you could watch this trend line if you're more of like a flag breakdown type of trader. We have these upsloping highs, so you could watch for that. Because see how the 1 minute it tried to get going, and not only was this the 50% retracement of the overnight session, it was the 1 minute trying to go bullish, and it also simultaneously was that tap of VWAP. So it's just a key level. When you get to these key levels, I find that there's a lot of retail traders, and for good reason, you almost like want a model that tells you, okay, no, like which way is it going? You don't know. It's just identify the key levels and pay attention to a reaction from that key level. So what I'm looking for is basically do this starting at 1006, 1005, 1006. We've had higher highs and higher lows. Is this going to get rejected? Do we take out 57? Do we take out 840? Which one is it going to be? My old apartment building is now. We're testing. See how it came right down there? Crazy when it plays out in real time like that. It's keeping this trend going. Who's going to win the battle? Who's going to win the battle? We're right back up to, well, we're in between VWAP and the point of control. And it also happens to be this key level of 900-ish. How's SPX looking? Same thing. See, double bottom. It's just we're at a key level, and that's all I could say. It could easily be a double bottom bounce, or It could be a dead cat bounce and we break. No one on this planet knows, which is why one of the best skills to have as a trader is literally just to be patient and wait for that perfect setup to have a little bit more clarity. This is a personal preference. Oh, I see a lot of sellers at 905 on NQ. They're selling just above. There's 103 contracts for sale. Now, are they going to stay there or not? Who knows? But at 24,905, they're putting a ceiling like right here. They're like intentionally targeting the 1 minute. Now, once again, selling to open, selling to close. We do not know that. We just know that they're sitting orders. We do not know that. So this low is 77, this low is 57, and this low is 40. The SPY just made a fresh low. The SPY just made a fresh low. But it keeps holding there. Buyers are continually stepping in. Interesting. How long will it hold? How strong is it? Here's a look at flow. The Mag 7 has been recovering since 1016. Not a great recovery, but recovering nonetheless. S&P 500, it did get a nice pop from 1006 to about 1022, fading it a little bit now. We're just in that purgatory in between. That purgatory in between. All I can tell you is we're at equilibrium, we're at key levels, and we just have to be patient and wait for the break. I don't think we need to be rushing this. We don't need to be rushing any of these decisions. 905. Those sellers are still there at 905. Those sellers are still there. Well, while we're waiting for this, quick question for all you guys. We had a little bit of frames getting dropped earlier in the show, like even before the market opened. Has that happened since, or are we good? What I can see on my end, at least, is that frames are no longer being dropped. Can you guys confirm that? When will Vanquish reach out? When they reach out, I don't run that company. Just chill. As long they'll DM you, it'll be okay. Good. I'll follow up with Vanquish today, but dude, give them a business day or two. You just went on Friday, and there's a gigantic storm going on right now. I'll make sure they get out to you. 905. No problem, Sense. All right, thank you. I appreciate that update. SPY taking a little bit of a turn. Mag 7 still kind of recovering. NASDAQ got a big pop, fading it a little bit now. I'm looking at this positive gamma node all the way over here at 850. That is so evidently the next target. 850. I have the alert there. This is by no means a guarantee. There's no such thing as a guarantee in the market. But putting together this negative gamma, you have this put credit spread at 840, putting together bearish. Well, technically we have a minute to go, but that is bearish right here. 5 minute, 10 minute. We have a minute to go, but that's going to close bearish unless we see the craziest bounce ever. It feels as if the odds are increasing that we're targeting this level, and then that will be the next level to kind of re-examine. But we're about to be in on the first hour, which means we could check out the IB. The IB is about to be in play. Once again, IB, initial balance. It is the first hours from 9:30 to 10:30. It's the high and the low. People have loved playing it. So we did crack this trend line. So now that we cracked that trend line, I feel like this is kind of the vibe right here. This is me just, I don't know, kind of guessing. But looking at this previous high, 916, looking at the previous low, 57, and then the breakdown of that low leading to the low of the day, 840, which would be the IB low. And it might even align with SPX testing that 850 level, which Once again, I do have the alert set. We're not going to be missing that. Here's a look at the Mag 7, trending down a little bit ever since the pop. And actually the SPY was trending down. It's catching another bid right here. There's still those sellers at 905 on NQ. Not that we're that close. We're 35 points away. Not that we're that close. Oh, brother. Oh, brother. Oh, brother. Oh, brother. Oh, mother. Oh, brother. Hang on. We're cleaning up some of these. Well, I mean, I would say from a momentum perspective, the Bears are in control, but they're not doing much with it. What is it? It's 10:31. Can you explain how you read the options flow? Yeah, so on the left side here, well, first of all, this tool is called Spot Gamma. It is by far the best options analytics tool. So if you have price on the left axis, and then you have the delta notional value on the right. Delta, if you've traded options at all, one of the Greek values is delta, and you can ascertain various mathematical things from it, but one of them is just straight up delta value. So if you are buying calls, you are adding positive delta. If you are selling puts, you are removing negative delta, which has the same mathematical impact of pushing delta higher, removing a negative, like two negatives. If you are selling calls, you are removing positive delta. If you are buying puts, you are adding negative. So those are the same thing. So basically, from this viewpoint, from a market maker's viewpoint, buying calls and selling puts both have a positive impact on delta. They push delta higher. On the flip side, selling calls and buying puts both push delta lower. So you're basically, from the lens of a market maker looking at the option trades, getting an idea of bullish or bearish. So obviously this is a bearish influence, this is a bullish influence, and this is a neutral influence. And then obviously you can split this up many ways because we're talking about calls and puts. So the green and the orange are calls. The green are 0 DTE calls, and the orange are all expiration calls put together. So it includes the 0 DTE, but then all the other ones. And then the two blue lines, the light blue is the 0 DTE puts, and the dark blue is all puts put together, including those 0 DTE puts. So right here, puts were they were probably being bought to open. They might have been bought to close. But you remember, you're adding negative delta, as in going down, when someone is buying puts. Now, once again, they might be buying to open, they might be buying to close. We don't know that, but we know there's someone out there is buying puts. And then the opposite is true when you start to spike. That is selling of puts. So selling of puts, they might be selling to lock in, they might be selling to open. Once again, you don't know. But right here, you have buying of puts, you have selling of puts. And then obviously you could do the same analysis with calls, or you could put all those delta influences together. So this is the combined view. This is the view of puts and calls separated. You can just look at the 0 DTE. You can look at just the expiration. So there's, like I said, there's various ways to break it down, but this is all the hero tool on Spot Gamma, which I'm obviously a massive fan of, and it's gotten to the point where I legitimately don't know how anyone would trade, especially with the current prolific nature of options trading right now. Month over month, especially quarter over quarter, we're hitting a record number of options contracts being traded. It is massively, massively influential on the underlying price. Obviously, they are a derivative product, but it's a huge influence. So I honestly don't know how you would trade not knowing this, because it's this type of information right here of all this trading that when you distill it, you start to get the idea of where people are positioned. Right here, there's a put credit spread. I could tell you that there's a very good chance if we dip down to 840, there's some level of a bounce. Big bounce, little bounce, I don't know. But right here, a giant put credit spread. There's a positive gamma region between 840 and 850. That's another, that's a big aspect of why I'm calling out for this being the zone. I'm looking for price to get here, and then we have to watch what happens. But how am I coming up with this? I'm not just randomly picking numbers. I'm literally saying, oh, okay, I can see where the big positioning is. If we recover above 75, I think there's a shot we go all the way back up to 6,900, because I only see negative gamma there, which is slippery price action. So really, it's a different data, I guess, visualization and analysis of putting all of this information together to see, okay, where are the nodes? Where is all the positioning? And like I said, I don't know how people trade without this. I really don't, because we all know big money moves the market. So if you don't know where big money is positioned, how can you get an idea of where they might react? Does it work for gold futures? I mean, I'm showing you on the S&P 500 on the Mag 7, but yeah, you could look at it on the Russell. Here's AMD, here's Apple, here's Avago, here's Coin, here's Microsoft. They have all the data. I just end up for the purpose of what we're doing. We end up talking a lot about the overall market, but if you want to know what's going on with Google right now, here's a look at Google. Google's getting smoked. If you want to know Netflix, okay, Netflix got smoked, now it's going flat. Tesla got hit, now it's recovering. There's a ton of things, and it gets way more in depth. Like right here, I could tell you the bears are a little bit in control. This is put skew. To the left is put skew. To the right is call skew. All these Mag 7 names have gigantic put skew right now. Gigantic put skew. So like this tool, it just keeps going and going and going. I guess just to not get too in depth to it, you could see the change of vol for all the strikes for all the dates. You could look at the term structure. You could look at the volatility skew. That's huge put skew. The VIX term structure, all the upcoming events and how vol is elevated to how it was last week. Like this tool is the most powerful retail options analytics tool I have ever seen in my entire life. And it is second to none, folks. I've used every tool that you could possibly think of. I've used Cheddar Flow. I've used Unusual Whales. If you can think of an options analytics tool at one point or another, I bought the subscription for it. And this is obviously opinionated, but it's second to none. Like Spot Gamma is so far ahead all the other ones, and the price does reflect it. That I'm not saying it's cheap, but that's exactly why I asked them for a discount code for all of you guys. You guys get 80% off, but the price does reflect its quality. And if you ask me, I mean, not only the money that it helps me make, but more importantly, the money that it helps me stop myself from losing definitely pays for itself. So if you're interested in it, first of all, if you don't want to spend any money, reach out to them. They will answer your questions. If you want to test it for yourself, in the description of the video, there's an 80% off link so you guys can test it out, see if it's for you. If you have specific questions, like I'll do my best to try to answer it. But like speaking from a little bit of a bounce there, speaking from, I guess just like my own trading, I suppose, background and whatnot, I've paid for those subscriptions for every other one, and some are good, some are bad. But it's one of those things that I'm not here to say like all the other ones are bad. I'm here to say like on a relative basis, this one's way better. Ortex is a different tool. Ortex is an options analytics. It's more so short interest analytics. So I still have Ortex and I still like look at that. And that was obviously very, very popular within the AMC, GME, like short squeeze days. But fortunately for us, retail has seemed to calm down on that sentiment of chasing short squeezes, which I am here for. I think that was like a very bad idea because yes, there are short squeezes that you can make a lot of money on. But when it was happening, people got this misconception that it happens every single day, and it doesn't. Short squeezes are very real things. Like I'm not trying to say they don't exist, but this idea of like every single stock you get into has to be a short squeeze stock, I don't think that was necessarily the best idea. Is Matt still trading today? Yeah, I have a short on NQ right now. I've been in it for a while. You guys heard the order filled forever ago, and I'm still in it. I'm slightly up. Not the best trading Friday for me. Did we hit that level yet? No, we didn't. I'm watching 850, and really, I'm watching this zone. It like, I believe when it comes to the world of trading, it's never so specific of like this exact level. No, it's the ideas of zones of like, okay, this is the zone I'm looking for, somewhere between 35 and 50, somewhere there. The zone starts at 50, but that's the zone I'm looking for. Like I look for rough areas. It's never to the point of like, oh, this like exact one. If you hit the exact volume, the exact value, yeah, congrats. It's a fun party trick. You're going to have a very difficult time, I suppose, recreating that. It is, I guess, interesting if you can do it, but this idea of being able to pick the exact level, If that's your goal, you're going to have a really, really tough time trading. A really, really tough time. I only listen and not watch because of working. I love the way you explain everything. You are awesome. That's very kind of you. I love the way you listened. That's awesome. Oh, did I say it's Friday? Sorry, my brain is fucking fried. I think it's fried from your boy hit. I got invited out. Actually, you guys might know him, but he's another like content creator that lives in the area. He's kind of like a bot trader for prop firms. His name is Jay. He's awesome. We went a little too hard on the margaritas on Saturday night. And I think it was honestly a little bit more of the sugar consumption levels that I had. Because the next day, yesterday, my brain did not stop throbbing until like, I don't even know, maybe like 4 p.m. My brain just got turned into absolute mush. And it's the sugar that gets you. It's the absolute sugar that gets you. So your boy was on the couch resting up quite a bit yesterday. But we also had the margs rocked. But, dude, I think the star of the show was actually the fajitas, dude. The fajitas were awesome. I see some sellers at 55 here on NQ, if you're watching that one. Okay, so we did crack this. We don't need that. New intraday low. Wow, look at that recovery in SPY. But remember, it's not really bullishness, it's lack of bearishness. All these puts are being sold. Not too many people are buying calls. Of course, that could change. Like in 2 seconds, we could see someone buy a bunch of calls. I'm just saying from 10:06 to here, the reason for this push is not people stepping in to be bullish. It is people stepping in to either put a floor beneath us or to just lock in their bearish profits. Did you get to talk about market structure the whole time? No. We talked about fajitas and how much we both love fajitas. Potential breakdown here. Hang on. Piper. Pippity Piper. 23rd. Oh brother. Hang on, I'm trying to put Piper in for the crew. All right, if you are in Discord, Piper actually didn't. Where the fuck's the right screen? I'm running where's my Piper bot? I'm losing it on the monitors. Oh, it says I need to wait. Hang on. It's about to fire. It's going to fire in... Where's my timer? It's going to fire in 90 seconds. It's going to fire in 90 seconds, team. 90 seconds. Steak for the win. Steak. Oh, I had steak fajitas, dude. And you're never having a bad day if you're eating a steak fajita. I really don't know if it's possible to have a bad day when you're eating a steak fajita. Same thing with a half rack of ribs. There's just certain foods that if you have them, you know you're having a good day. And steak fajitas are one of those foods, and a half rack of ribs is probably another one of those foods. If we were to get into the world of desserts, probably a nice cheesecake is another one of those that if you're just like, no matter what's going on in the world, like, you know, you're having a good time. Mag 7 drifting back down, S&P 500, that put, yeah, we just got cracked right there. All right, did 945 hit? Did 945 hit? It's about to. It's about to. Key lime pie. It's a great pie. I don't know if it's at that level, though. It is a good pie, though. I would say a lot of the times you're having a good time if you're eating a key lime pie. All right, Piper's about to fire. Boom. All right, if you're in the Discord, Piper just fired. I didn't take a trade yet on that, but we'll see how things play out. I just wanted to put that in there. If you want to trade with me, goonieTrading.com. SPY. Let's zoom out on this one so you guys can see it. It's a little slow to react over here today. I am seeing a bunch of buyers at 810. On NQ, that is right here. So 808 is kind of the overnight low. Where was it? This is what I'm talking about right here. So far, the intraday low is 816 for regular trading hours. If you're counting the overnight session, around, I guess, 12:30, 21 o'clock as well. We got just above 800. It's like 807, 808, somewhere right there. So we're getting pretty close to it. Obviously, a level to pay attention to, especially because it's probably going to align with SPX cracking 850. So once again, things are aligning roughly in this zone. Am I playing it? Yeah, I've been in this play forever now, and I don't know how I want to get the fuck out. I'm short. I've been in this since like maybe 10:05. I don't know. I've been in this for a while. Oh, where is my risk? I just arbitrarily have this target here at 92, not for anything special, just in case there was a dump I wasn't paying attention to. I wanted to see how it would play out. Might be retesting IB. IB is 840. Shit. No. And just like that, what did we bounce off of? It was 812. We never hit that 808 level. I wonder if it's just going to be the red dashed line is the bottom of the IB, the bottom of the initial balance, as in the first hour's low. Markets love to retest it. The way they love to retest the 50% retracement, the way they love to retest VWAP. It's just another key level of equilibrium. This one, to explain it, it's kind of, if you think of the IB, which is once again the first hour's high and low, that kind of, in a certain sense, represents the extreme, It kind of represents the extreme nature of like the big institutional buying. It's kind of thought that they trade mainly in the first hour of the day. So it gives you an idea of like the extremes of like where big money's at. So whether that's true or not, it does very quickly become a self-fulfilling prophecy of people paying attention to it. Because look at that. We bounce, broke down. We're retesting it right now. Which way does it go from here? Your guess is as good as mine. But what was that low? 12. I need to pay attention. I haven't been trading well. I think my brain is still on ice from all those frozen margaritas. So SPX did crack 50. So this bounce right here was probably the psychological reaction of touching 50. See right there? We just got below 50. We wicked below it. The alert went off. I didn't hear it go off. Is something wrong? Did I like somehow mute myself or mute my computer audio? I didn't hear it, but it shows that the alert went off. But right here, we did crack below 50. Initial reaction, and now it's game on. Now it's like, oh, are we actually breaking below it, or are buyers going to be stepping in? Because like we kind of kissed it real quick little peck on the cheek and popped. Mag 7 still getting hit. S&P 500 is still climbing. Yeah, a little bit of call buying, a little bit of put selling. On NQ, there are sellers at 52, 852, and there's buyers at 810. So a little bit like of a 40-point region. Sellers above at 852, buyers below at 810. All right, I'm going to front run those pipsqueaks. I'm going to front run those jabronis just in case they bounce it again. Just in case they bounce it again, I need to lock in at least half of my loss here. Never mind. I thought I was about to get it. Shit. Volume's picking up. Someone's hitting the tape. Someone's hitting the tape. Oh, come on. What are we doing? What are we doing? Oh, premium is a little burned up for me for where I want to sell it. I don't know if I can today. It's just the risk reward doesn't make the most sense. Maybe if there's a midday pop, I could get in. But if you're in the Discord wondering why I haven't sold premium, it's because there's like no real reward, which means there's monster risk. Oh, so just waiting on that. Here, I'll mark out the current intraday low so we know if that is snapping. I mean, we just barely got below it. Like, there must have been a decent amount of buyers waiting for that one. Like, I mean, we went to 49.94. Like, we barely got below that. Yeah, I mean, the key watch here is 840. That's a put credit spread, which is a neutral to bullish bet. This player right here, to the tune of 2.4 thousand spreads, is betting that we close the day anywhere above 6,840. They don't care if it's by a cent or $100. But yeah, a little bit of a put credit spread. That's what this structure is. It is a neutral to bullish bet. It's like similar to an over bet in sports. They just want us to be anywhere above 840 at market close today. Hey, I almost got my fill. Almost got back into the green.
Order filled.
There we go, brother.
You getting mad? I'm getting rich. You getting mad? I'm getting rich.
I'd like to dedicate that to all the people who were laughing at me when I lost money this morning. It was hurtful. You really hurt my feelings on that one. It feels like you're picking on me. I mean, you already see what I'm dealing with in the looks department. God threw me down the fucking ugly tree. And now you guys are just piling on. You're like, oh, ugly Matt is back at it again, losing money. So it's just like, I don't know. Can't we give ugly people a little bit of a break? Can't we just, like, you're picking on me. You knew I was hungover all day yesterday, as ugly as could be. And then I'm apparently also a shitty trader. And you guys are just piling on. Piling on. We're sorry, Matt. We didn't mean it. You know, like, this is the only thing I have going for me. And if you guys take this away, what do you expect me to do then? What do you expect me to do if you take the one thing I have going for me away? Oh, I need another level. Oh. 700 is a sick target. But we don't want to be too greedy.
Order submitted.
We don't want to be too greedy about it. So we can't reach for 700. So instead, we're going to go for 701. You don't want to be too greedy. That's when the market makers get you. So we're going to front run it. We're going to give ourselves some buffer. Instead of 700, we're going 701. And if this trade hits, we're looking solid because that's a 3.3K return. Technically, I have a locked-in loss of 800. So that would be 2.5K on all 12 of my accounts. And I'm stoked. I'd be stoked about that. I don't need to overstay my... Oh, there are people at 770. I could see them right now. There's 120 contracts to be bought at 770. So there might be a little bit of a double bottom here. But if that cracks, I'd be looking at 40 to 50. And then hopefully a flush right to my level. hopefully a flush right to my level. And then obviously I have in the protective stop just to not be completely stupid. A smart trader would be moving this to, they'd be moving it down for sure. But remember, I never said I was a smart trader. Don't get greedy. That's good advice. Yeah, you should never be greedy, but I think better advice than that is stick to your trading plan. I don't want to be greedy and go for 700, so I'm being not greedy and going for 701. And then other than that, I care a lot more about this stop placement and then obviously my realized P&L on the day. But it's all about, it's all about your risk management. You're in control of your risk, nothing else. Damn, I never, okay, so they moved down to 750 right here just to, is there a way to open up multiple instances of Bookmap so I can show you guys that? Does anyone know off the top of their head? Do we have any Bookmap professionals in here? Because like I have one on this screen that you guys can't see, but you're going to have to believe me. Is there a way that I can open up like multiple pages of it? Like if I just drag this. Oh. It's literally that simple. All you have to do is ask. Dude, what a good lesson for this world. Literally, you just have to drag it. Dude, today's turning up, Matt. But anyway, as you guys can see, there's quite a few buyers right here, 750. As you guys can see. Oh, wait. Already, but you can only have one window of it. So I can't have another window of it. That's interesting. So how do you drag it back in? Do I have to do it like that? Oh, all right. You're going to have to believe me for it. But anyway, yeah, 750. There's 245 contracts to be purchased. So 750. People are attempting to buy. Maybe buy to open, maybe buy to close. I don't know. I'm not their mom. I don't check what they do. But all right. So I'm moving my stop down where if my stop gets hit, I'm still green on the day. So after making a succession of bad decisions today, we're finally going to make a good decision. And at least I'll be green. But I would really rather my 701 target gets hit. I'd really, really prefer that, actually. 2 screens, Matt. Oh, you guys don't even know. I'm a real trader now. Now I have multiple monitors. That's honestly the only difference between being a real trader, a profitable trader, and not. Is just how many monitors you have. There's a direct correlation between your success as a trader and how many screens you have. And honestly, I would say that might be true with life. That very well might be true with life. Like if you're having issues in your relationship, in your marriage, if you're like, hey man, I'm on the edge of a divorce, maybe try getting more monitors. Perhaps you are having issues with your weight and you need to go to the gym and exercise and diet. Maybe you don't. Maybe you just need more monitors. Maybe you're having issues with taxes or getting a promotion at your job. I'm telling you, folks, there's not many things in this world that can't be fixed by just getting more monitors. Double 27? Yeah, you could get a double 27 if that's the level you want your life at. But if you want it to be better, you would get more. You would double the double the double. You would go up to 8 of those monitors. 20 on order right now. I mean, be careful with 20. Your life might get so good overnight that not everyone's ready for it. Not everyone can handle the life of having 20 monitors. Can monitors fix my ED? I'm not a doctor or anything, but I think it's the only thing that can fix ED. And like I said, I'm not a doctor, but let's just put it this way. Getting more monitors has pretty much fixed everything for me. It's pretty much fixed everything for me. Oh, brother. Like, for instance, would I have ever hit this trade last week when I had one less monitor than I do now? Probably not. Would I have been able to make money trading today? I don't think so. I mean, we're not scientists or anything. We're not like these nerds who know that type of stuff, but I think it's a pretty safe assumption that I would be nowhere in my life if I didn't buy more monitors. I would just be a lost puppy. Nothing but a lost puppy. So we are obviously bouncing off 750. There are some buyers that moved in to right there. It just tagged them. But a lot of those people got absorbed at 750. A lot of them. Trump's talking. So am I. He should be tuning into what I have to say. In fact, his entire administration should be like, yo, let's take a quick break. Kohrs is streaming. Let's see how many margaritas he had this past weekend. Probably a borderline illegal amount. They were so good, though. So good. Bearish. Momentum is completely bearish. Mag 7 is getting its teeth kicked in. S&P 500 had a lot of those puts locked in, but that's even turning now. Yeah. Like I said, all right, we're at the bottom of the transition zone. So it was one thing for us to snap 850, but like I said, this is the bottom of the zone, which means if it cracks, then we're watching 820 followed by 800. I'd be kind of surprised if this cracks on its first attempt. Like, this is kind of a big deal for it to be like, we just fucking smoked it. We're at the low from Friday now. Remember, 850 to 835 was my target zone. We might be snapping it. And if we do snap it, 820, we snap that, 6,800. I personally wouldn't be, if we get to 6,800, I wouldn't be overstaying my welcome past that point. There's just too much going on. Stability is 2%. Did you guys know that this stability, and you could ask SpotGam about this stability actually has nothing to do with the stock market. It's a direct measure of my mental state. A lot of people recently who've been signing up with my code to get on SpotGamma, they're accidentally, and I get the misconception there. Like, I get it. I get why we're all making this assumption that, stability, S&P 500, Gamma Map, it makes sense. But in fact, it has nothing to do with the market. It exclusively has to do with my mental state. Every single day, they do psychology tests. They're reading my blood levels. They ask me what I did all weekend, and then they just pipe in the stability to SpotGamma. Come on. Remember, we're not being greedy. We're front running it by 1 point. No greed today. We're taking our profits at reasonable, respectable levels. Oh, should we listen to a little Kohrs? A little Kohrs. Come on. Hit it for America. This trade is for America. This is for the goodness of America. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on, 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 come on. There we go. America. America.
Here comes the money.
That's it. That's all I have for you. We're calling it a day. After going down 2K to making 2.5, you got to call it. You got to call it. Am I the best trader ever? Maybe. But today, clearly not the worst trader ever. And that's really what matters. Made 2.5K across. Ooh, let's get rid of that order.
Order canceled.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10. Dude, 30K. That's not a bad deal. So to all the people who are making fun of me, call me ugly Kohrs, fat loser dumbass Kohrs. Well, it's fat loser rich dumbass Kohrs. So you need to update the derogatory names that you're calling me. Am I fat? Yes. Am I a stupid little loser? Yes. Am I as ugly as they get? Of course. But I also made $30,000. So if you're gonna clap back at me, at least get the epithets right. Up 1.2K on my Lucid accounts today. Who else is up? Nobody, Kohrs. Yeah. You guys are starting to sound like my mom. What do you mean? You're a podcaster. You have a degree. Why aren't you an engineer? God, I wish I got rid of you. She doesn't say that. She does say, I wish I left you at that zoo. Apparently there was a zoo debacle when I was young. She's like, I should have left you at the zoo. But here I am. My mom always refers to me as a boomerang. She's always like, I try to get rid of you and you just kept coming back. But whatever. I'll figure it out. Nah, I'm fucking around. My mom's awesome. It was actually my mom's birthday over the weekend. I sent her an edible arrangement. Dude, you're the Harambe kid. Yeah, my mom, she's like tossing me in there. Oh, here we are. What are we doing? What am I even doing right now? Yeah, this is getting sliced and diced. Wait, what? Drama, hang on. Drama, pausing for drama. Kudos for finally coming out and saying you're a fraud, but at this point it's too late. 250,000 subs, fake video claiming 700K profits, Discord subscription, fucking shameful. Had a moment of clarity, then deleted the video. Too late, bud. How philosophy made me 700K trading, 372,000 views. Wait, so how do we know that he's a fraud? To add a few things I forgot to cover in this video. First, I want to be fully transparent about the numbers since I didn't share them clearly enough. In my entire trading career, I'm around net break even. The majority of money I've made trading over the past 5 years has been lost. I have not made 700K. I wanted to put that out there plainly so there's no ambiguity. You deserve the full truth of my P&L actually looks like. I'm making this video out of my own pure conviction and heart of repentance and make... Oh, that's just it. So I guess he's a fraud. How philosophy made 700K. To be fair, he didn't say 700K profit. I guess that's his gross. But yeah, no, that's obviously a little bit deceitful. That's crazy. It's insane how many frauds are coming out here and there and everywhere. I mean, I don't know. It's just so much easier to be transparent and forthcoming. It really is, because then you don't have to keep track of like the shit that you, like the lies, you know? Like for me, you guys all know, if you've been here for more than a week, you know that right now I'm waiting for $1 million single payout from Apex. Before this, without the $1 million payout, I am net ahead on Apex. I want to be very, very clear. Without the $1 million payout from my trading, the payouts they've given me and the money I've given them, I am net ahead. Obviously, the $1 million puts me greatly net ahead. But also with that being said, in terms of the level, you guys might care about the ROI. I've spent multiple six figures. I mean, I've been on Apex since 2023. And when the first half of the career is just letting you guys degenerately bet like 20 accounts on this, or we were doing YouTube versus Rumble, it's really, really easy to run it up. So yeah, was there an aspect of entertainment? Of course. Was there an aspect of sometimes just me getting tilted in shitty trades? Yeah, without a doubt. But you have to be transparent in this world. I don't hide it from you guys. You guys know I've spent 6 figures on this, and I'm also letting you know I was net ahead before this. If I get this payout, I'm greatly net ahead. In terms of trading, you've probably been around with AMC and GME. You know that on AMC alone, I lost 600, 700K. I probably lost it in total, putting those together, including GameStop. It probably goes to $1 million. But then there's other times when you've seen me make 6 figures on this trade, or last year in the tariff debacle. At one point, I think there was a 200K win. Like, I don't know, folks. Like, you have to be transparent. And that's what I love about streaming it. Like, even today, well, maybe seriously, but maybe some of you guys were seriously shitting on me. I hope a lot of it was in jest, but like, I tried to show you everything. You guys saw that I went down 2K per account today. You guys saw that I ended up making 2K per account today. I'm not trying to tell you that I make money on every trade. Do I think I'm a good trader? Yes. Am I attempting to always become a better trader, be more disciplined, have less emotion? Without a doubt. But I by no means want you guys to think I am the end-all, be-all, expert advice on perfect trading, because day over day, I recognize in myself there are ways that I could be better. So if you come to me thinking, nope, this is the best guy ever and he knows everything about trading, no. As much as I try to be transparent, I literally post daily updates, ask anyone in the Discord. I post all my entries. I post all my exits. No Monday morning quarterbacking where I only show you the good one. Like, you see it as I get in and you see it when I get out. So inherently that time differential, like, you're just seeing the real trades. I do everything I can in my power to be transparent and show you the real-time stuff. Ask anyone in the Discord. Sometimes on days that I'm tilted, it's bad days. Like, I'm in there, I'm yelling, I'm screaming, and obviously I'm not targeting at anyone. But like, no, I'm playing with my real money. And sometimes it goes well, and it's an easy day, and I make a bunch of money. Other times I have a horrible day, and I lose a bunch of money. I'm promising you, my hit rate is around 50-50. Half the time I'm doing well, the other half of the time I'm not. But the key for me is the times that I'm not doing well, I'm trying to make that as minimal of a hit to my overall account as I possibly can. So obviously that, I don't know, this whole speech started because of this random thing of some guy being a fraud. And now this is on top of a bunch of these other people being frauds. And I guess it's one of those things that you have to understand the difference between like what's good marketing and what's good trading. And it's one of those things that I think, like, sunlight is the best disinfectant. I think that's the saying. But basically what I'm trying to say is just be transparent. I find that the community respects you a lot more for being public and transparent about your losses than somehow having fictitious lies that they think it's all like true. And like, I don't know. I've been just running with this mindset kind of forever. I mean, do you know how much shit I got from this video? I want to show you one video just to kind of drive home this point. Where was it? Where the fuck is the video starting? Oh, this one right here. Starting of a new one. I had to like explain how I lost $800,000 trading Apex. I was one payout cycle away from literally making $800,000. And since so many people were like following the journey, but in here I explain it all. And then like, of course, not only do I make a video about it, but I tweet about it. And like, the internet does the internet. Like, it's one of those things where the internet's always going to be brutal. I think actually Reddit, if you search Kohrs on, no, I always find this funny that this is just like how fucking unforgiving the internet is. As soon as you take, right here, this was that exact video. So this video, when I publicly announced that I blew everything up, lost $800,000, this was all on Apex. And remember, this is the second big blow up of my career with AMC and GameStop, obviously losing $1 million there. But like, this is what the internet does. The second it goes out, last week, Matt Kohrs blew up his trading accounts, LMAO. That's the fucking internet for you. Dude, it's like absolutely unforgiving. They just linked the video. Do I even get... Yeah, lost porn. That was like, look how horrible I looked. That is actually the look of a man who lost it all. I didn't realize how bad I looked. Holy shit. The fact that none of you reached out to ask me if I was okay and I looked like this day in and day out, that's kind of fucked up on your parts, dude. If I didn't realize that I looked this bad. Holy shit. And not one of you. Not one of you was like, you okay, brother? Like, look at this. We're sitting here. Look, is this kid all right? Holy shit. You guys. And everyone's just so stoked. And then even on Twitter, like I tweeted it. You can find the tweet. It's up there. And dude, the internet just loves the fucking dog pile. And this is, I guess that's the trade-off. So I understand why people want to lie about it. Who's the other guy that just got exposed? So Lanto's getting exposed right now. Brian Stonk apparently got exposed last week. Trader's Paradise has already been exposed like multiple times over. Like this past week, Sage, is it Sage Trades? Yeah. This guy, he's been exposing people. Right here, he just exposed Trader's Paradise, and he has a whole thread proving it. Someone's going after Lanto. Brian Stonk just got destroyed. Like, it's just endless. And I get it. I get why people want to lie, because they're better marketers, and it's like, get people into your discourse, this, that, and like they just want the clout that comes with it. Like, I get it, because it's not so fun to deal with the shit that I had to deal with. But I would much rather deal with the blowback of the internet, like bagging on me when I lose. I would rather deal with that than, hang on, where is it? I'm trying to find the one with the horrible beards. At what time did you guys let me have an absolute horrible beard? Dude, is this, oh, there's the beard. There's the beard. Okay, it's getting bad. Did I shave? Was that like the big change for me? You can see like where I got my mentality back. Jesus Christ. Yeah, you could see the beard was getting worse and worse in each one. Yeah, it's starting to really progress there. It's starting to get really fucked up in that one. But anyway, I would rather deal with like getting dunked on from the internet for my losing trades and being honest about it, rather than like always that fear that they're going to like find you out. Folks, I make money, I lose money. I do it at very large size. So when I win, it looks big. When I lose, it looks big. Sometimes when I'm on tilt, there's like an asymmetric aspect to it, which, hang on, Loom, structure in an iron condor, talk to text. Dude, this public API is amazing. Hey, I like this full TPT audit incoming. Hey, I appreciate that. I appreciate it. We'll find out, but we'll see. We'll see. I mean, that's pretty much the end. You guys saw what I did. The market's too far gone for me to sell any premium today, so I'm not doing that. You saw my futures trading. I had winning trades. I had losing trades. I'm stopping it now to stop myself in the green. Obviously, that's a goal of mine. Oh, I think I actually might have passed these accounts today. 159. Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, that's sick. So those are good. Those have some distance to go. Those have some. Okay, we're getting there. We're getting there. That's kind of it. Happy Monday. It, in retrospect, looks like it was a lot easier day than I felt it was, because these ranges were large, but I hope you guys are doing way better than I am. Matt, did you get your $1 million payout? Nope, it's still under review. So it can take a while. From what I'm hearing, anywhere from 2 to 6 weeks. We're in week 3 right now. So in terms of how things have played out in the past, this seems somewhat normal. But I mean, I showed it all to you guys early on. Did I break MAE on the like first payout cycle? I did. And that's why I got denied. I made a whole video about it, and it was not Apex's fault. It was 100% my fault. I broke the rule. Wasn't 100% sure about what it was. Then I realized what the rule was, came up with a better like system to handle it, and you just move on with your life. So that's not a hard breach. That's a soft breach. Obviously, if you continue breaking it, you're going to be like, that's going to be an issue. But ever since that breach, I did get 5 approved payouts, and now I'm just waiting on the 6th one, which is obviously the large amount. So it's under review. They have to review all your trades. They have to do anti-money laundering. They have to do KYC. And I think they're going to be even more stringent now because of the recent drama with affiliates like kind of gaming the system and whatnot. But I feel like I've been open and transparent to you guys. And when I broke MAA, when I didn't, I trade all my accounts together. So I'm never like some of the issues, the main issue that people had before that like they're getting called out for on Apex was going one direction on gold and silver and then going the other direction on the other asset. So it'd be like long gold, short silver, or vice versa. You guys have seen my trades. I trade them all together. I trade them all together on NQ. So I wasn't doing like these uncorrelated opposite trades. I wasn't even trading them separately. I copy traded everything and just stuck to my trading system. So we're going to see. It's going to probably take time, I hope, to find out soon, but I don't have an ETA or anything. Obviously, when I have an update, I'll let you guys know. But other than that, obviously, I'm just going to keep trading. I still like Apex. I mean, 90% off deals, sick. I would be trading them if my account wasn't currently under review. When you're under review, you can't do anything. So I'm trading on Lucid. I'm trading on FFN. I'm trading on Take Profit. I've been hearing a lot of good things about Top One. I've been hearing a lot of good things about Alpha, and I've been hearing a lot of good things about Legends trading. So I might check those out. Just to see what's going on. I haven't used them before. Apex is moving me to live with only 5 accounts and around 9.1K in drawdown. I got 3 pounds, 700, 200K. No, they're not moving you to live. They're considering you for live, and they stopped you from buying evals. You're not actually getting moved to live. You would have to do a lot more trading to officially get moved to live. So I've seen that email in the past, but what's going on with your account is you can no longer get evals as they're considering you for live, but that process in itself is a long process. You have to trade for many other days and have a good amount of success to actually get moved to officially to go to live. So you're not moving to live yet. You're under consideration for live. And in the meantime, you can no longer buy evals. So that could either be a good thing or a bad thing. You could be a legitimately good trader crushing it, or they might have caught you burning and churning accounts, trading certain accounts in other directions, or doing something like that. So oddly enough, it could either mean they caught you breaking rules, but they're not 100% sure, so they're giving you more time to see if you continue with that habit, or you're actually like really, really good at trading and you're legitimately under consideration for live. But in either case, it's going to take more time. And if it's the email that I'm thinking about, you can no longer buy evals. So you're quote unquote eval banned. So the current accounts you have, you're good to go. Keep trading them and obviously trade them well. But it sounds like you got that eval ban. How do you feel about Lucid Flex versus Apex? I like them both. I attempt to stick with the larger firms that I can quote unquote trust more. And they're both big. Obviously, Apex is the biggest in the game. And I wish I was not like, I wish I could have another 20 accounts with them. But at this point, when your account's under review, it is what it is. After going through the Matt Kohrs show, do you prefer trailing drawdown or EOD? EOD is far easier. But like, of course, like that's actually not even up for discussion. Who would want trailing? It's of course EOD is easier. Oh, like without a doubt. After your success, I almost prefer trailing and living the buffer in since Apex shouldn't disappear. I think you have a misunderstanding of what they are. EOD is by far, like all the trailing does is knock you out earlier and then you lose your accounts. I think you are misunderstanding EOD drawdown versus trailing. And the trailing is based off your unrealized high, while the EOD is your end of day value from the previous one. EOD is exponentially easier. It's not like a pros and cons list. Like one is just more difficult and one is easier. If you receive the big payout, will you still be able to have Apex accounts? I'm unsure. It sounds like it's a person-to-person case, and they look at your trading style. To my understanding, they have various things to consider, but it's not like a hard cut rule. It's not like if you get this, you auto. Like it sounds like it's person-to-person. Sorry, after you get through the buffer unfunded. Once you get through the buffer unfunded, your trailing literally just goes down to like $100 plus your initial value. So if you have 50K accounts, after you exceed the buffer, your trail down just gets pinned to 50,100. That's how it works for all of them. I think you have a big misconception of what these rules are and aren't. Once on all of these platforms, once you surpass your buffer in profit, the drawdown gets pinned. It stops moving at $100 plus your initial account value. So in that example, a 50K account, your trailing stop gets pinned to 50,100. If you have a 150K account, it gets pinned to 150,100. But that's what happens after you exceed the buffer. Like I said, I think you need to review the rules because it sounds like you have a bit of like misunderstanding of how this works. On some firms, you have daily loss limits, which is a soft breach, and they freeze you out for the day. That's not on all firms, but some of them do have that. But for example, on an Apex 50K account, let's say your buffer, your P&L goes up 10K, so your account's at 60K. Your buffer is just pinned to 50,100. Like that's where the buffer is at. And that happens after you get 2,600. So as soon as you hit 2,600 in profit, it gets pinned to $100 above. And then obviously for the exact values of when it gets pinned, you would want to look at your account. But I think you have a misunderstanding of how this works. Apex doesn't have this. Apex, there are some firms that like Tradeify, I think is one of them, but maybe I'm wrong. But anyway, there's DLLs, daily loss limits, where let's say your buffer is like, I'm just making these numbers up. It might be like 5K, but then a daily loss limit of 2K. So if you hit that intraday, it freezes you out for the day. Of course, you could trade the next day, but it's more of like a freeze out methodology. And then obviously if you have enough DLLs that they add up that you blow out your full buffer, well, that's actually a hard breach, but there are obviously various rules that you have to take the time to understand. So if someone blows out accounts after being eval banned, are they done using Apex? Yes, in most cases. I mean, you could always email them to plead your case and be like, hang on, there's like this misconception, but if you blow out your PAs and you're not allowed to buy evals anymore, you're not allowed to buy evals anymore. And to my understanding, it happens in one of two conditions. You are legitimately a good trader, similar to if you're a card counter at a casino and you have too much of an edge, the casino doesn't have to offer you like business. Like it's not a God-given right to be in casinos. It's not a God-given right to trade on these prop firms. So if they think you're legitimately too good and are just going to take them for their money, you like they can stop business. But the other one is that they found you breaking one of their rules, or like they're suspicious of you breaking one of their rules, quote unquote, gaming the system. That would be like going long and short on gold and silver, like simultaneously in different directions, or burning and churning your accounts, or too many MAE violations, like that type of a thing. So it might be that they are suspicious of your behavior and kind of want to do an analysis of it more so. Matt, I understand. I was just wondering if you prefer trailing out the buffer, even though it's tougher initially, and you can keep building. What? I still don't get your question at all. H2 pros. Like I would, as soon as you exceed the buffer, your drawdown, why would you want it to keep trailing? That means you never get more buffer. I wish I could answer this question, but I don't think I understand the question, because I think you have a misunderstanding of how this buffer works. But anyhoozle, feel free to DM me if you like. I'm happy to try to answer it. I just think we're talking about different things. So you might want to read some of the FAQ, but in no world would it be good to keep having a trailing buffer after you exceed your buffer, like the max value? Of course you want it to get pinned, because then you have more leeway for bigger trades. Like, duh. Why would you want it to always continue to trail you? That doesn't make sense. But that's why I think we're talking about different things. So like I said, feel free to DM me. But in the meantime, market's getting pretty beat up now. As you can see, we did bounce at some pretty important levels right here. We're bouncing right at the low of Friday's trading session. Look at this. How disgusting is that I called this level out like literally hours before the market opened? This was posted in the Discord at 8:30 this morning. Look at that perfect bounce. And I even called it out to you guys that if we break this 850 to 835 zone, the next gamma level is at 820. How did I know that? Well, I just logged in and I looked at the next gamma level and it said, okay, that's the next potential point for a bounce. And that's exactly what happened. This is why it's imperative for all active traders who at least want to be successful to pay attention to options flow, because it is this influential on the situation. Like this has been on your chart before the market opened, and look at where we perfectly bounced. So if it gets back above 50, interesting. That sets up potentially all the way back up to 72. If it gets rejected here, you'd be looking for the breakdown of 31, the retest of 20, and if that doesn't hold, 800. But which way is it going to go? I have no idea. All you do is watch it at every key level. In my mind, that's the key purpose of trading, is not guessing bullish or bearish. It's the game of identifying the key levels, wait for price to get to those key levels, and identify what it's doing from there. So it's, as I always say, it's not the game of prediction, it's the game of reaction. You have to be patient enough to wait for the proper levels, and then you react to that price development. So just wanted to kind of highlight that concept. I'm going to go hang out in the Discord. Don't forget Apex, 90% off. This is the final full day, 90% off, code Goonie. If you want to be in the Goonie Trading Discord, goonietrading.com. And also, if you want to use Spot Gamma, it's in the description of the video since we were just talking about it. So if you could get 80% off if you use that link, which is a good time for you to kind of test out if you really want the platform. I absolutely love it, but obviously everyone, we're all on our own trading journey. That's what I have for you right now. We'll be posting content later on today, so make sure your notifications are on YouTube, on Rumble, all the social medias. Other than that, content coming out later today, and then we're going to be streaming once again tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. bright and early. I hope to see you there. I hope you crush the market today and make a shitload of money. If you have any questions, you can reach out to me on goonietrading.com. There's a contact page that comes directly to me, and I'll be responding to everyone. I say a day, but generally it only takes me a couple hours. I'm incessantly online like all of you guys. Matt, do you feel the pressure of having profitable considering the monthly cost of your 20 accounts? Oh shit, yeah. Folks, I've spent multiple six figures on all of those accounts. The data fees, I spend thousands of dollars a month on data fees. My rent's expensive. I mean, it costs me a lot of money to live my life every month in terms of keeping it going. So of course there's pressure. But hey, no pressure, no diamonds. Am I right? Anyhoozle, I appreciate all the good vibes. I'll catch you guys on the flippity flip. Have a good one. Peace.